Hello, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. Hello to those watching live on Twitch, and if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to join us live for this show every Monday, right at this time. I'm bad at translating times in time zone, so we'll keep it at this time next week as well. So today we're playing Inquisitor. And we have a very special episode this week. We're playing a Deathwatch squad instead of our normal characters, as those have been ordered by the Inquisitor. And let's go around our cast and crew and figure out who we are and who we're playing. And I am Vuurmannetje, of course. Here every week I do tech on this channel as well as play this show, DM this show. We'll start with our very special guest, Redundant UK.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much. I'm filling in for Charlie. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm not feeling particularly good at the moment, but purging some Xenos should solve that quite easily. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to do. As you said, I'm Redundant UK. I'll be playing Brother Akrubu, who is a veteran space wolf, who just can't wait to sink his teeth into some Xeno scum.
All right, thank you. Jason, I think you're the captain, right?
I think so. I mean, that's what it says down there, but I am just Jason Please on Twitter, and so happy to be here, joining all of you as Captain Zachariel Terrian, member of Deathwatch, formerly of the 5th Company of the Blood Ravens. Fun times. But we'll see how much that plays into this week. I'm sure nothing will be stolen, nothing will be missing, and yeah, you'll find everything in its proper place. Or at least the things I want you to find.
No, I sure hope so. How about you, Pope?
Oh, well, it's good to be back, and it's good to be playing Deathwatch. I will be joining our cadre as Apothecary Brother Narcissus. I am here to patch the hurt and make sure that the Emperor's Angels of Death continue fighting.
Cool. Kat, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, hanging in there. I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord, and back to kind of a little bit of what Stephania used to be, where my job is to kill things. Not so much hit them this time as melt their faces off. I will be playing Brother Kaleo of the Salamanders. He is a devastator, and it is his job to turn things all kind of melty and gooey into hot little piles of goo. And he's really looking forward to that, and he's decided that we're all going to go home.
All right. Well, the 5th member of our Deathwatch squad is an NPC. Well, NPC. It's my Deathwatch brother. It's an Ultramarines librarian going by the name of Prometheus, who will be there to give supernatural support to our party of heavy combat dudes. So, in short, a Deathwatch squad, a kill team like this, has only one mission, and that is to do the dirty work for Inquisitors. If they need to kill a target, retrieve assets, save an Inquisitor, basically anything, even a Space Marine might not normally be suitable for, but these guys, they'll get the job done. They're specialists put together from all the different Space Marine chapters, who are kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's crossed with Terminators. Oh, that's a... Arnold Schwarzenegger's in power armor. That's the word I was looking for. Genetically super engineered to be super soldiers for the Emperor. And these are the best of the best. They have been liaisoned to the Inquisition for either one or more missions. And so they come from all different chapters and work as a kill team. But before... where's this primer? Here's the primer. Before we begin today's shows, I'll remind you all of our sponsors. And let me grab up chat so I can actually do the proper linking as well. This week, we're also sponsored by the Spy Game, a D&D 5th edition compatible spy game with action and espionage, clandestine organizations, and secret agencies. You take on the role of a spy, running intel and engaging in wet work to ensure the security of the world from corrupt governments and evil machinations of rogue villains. It's coming to Kickstarter soon, and the Quick Start PDF is available free on Drive-Thru NPC. RPG. Yeah, that's the word. And yeah, thank you, Kat, for linking that. Another one we're using is Fantasy Grounds, which you can see below me. That's the role window for us. Our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles, mostly roles, you see tonight are using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer, and 40k, especially 40k minis, with 20% off. If someone can link that as well, that would be cool. This week, check out our sponsor, Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. And when we hit 20 retweets, we give away a set of dice, if that's still true. I think it is. And also I'll poke Will for it. You can also support the show by retweeting this tweet. She's quicker than me, which is in chat right now. And you can use, that's that one, finally. And I will tell you how to interact with today's shows, because you can donate to affect the game. You can give the players net 1s, net 20s, wild magic surges, which are still in, and still this month's special, the Table of Pets. And you can also donate pets to Charlie, who isn't here, but she'll love an extra pet. By typing !donate in chat, which I do. And for those of you watching on YouTube, come to the show on Monday. It's really fun. You can interact like this. But without further ado, I'll hand you over to myself. It's a script. I'm reading a script.
Don't you love the primer? You just love it, don't you? It's like, God damn it, Will.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta pretend it's Will's voice. So it's...
Yeah. Also, quick note...
so many times. Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
Also, just quick note on the Spy Games Kickstarter. It's not going to start. It's actually started.
It is on Kickstarter.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And it's like 70% some odd funded.
Okay.
Get it to that 100 before too long. Yeah,
almost 75%.
Mm-hmm. So
let's just go for 200% funded.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, if you insist, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So, today we have the Kill Squad, and we are setting off. I've got this map. I'm showing the map only once. I had it in show before. From Harata Spaceport, which is like a... it's a system where they make big spaceships and have all the logistics of this sector. And there's a watch station there, as Deathwatch squads, they reside in watch stations until they're needed, which is often. And they got a message from Inquisitor Kifkin. Can you remind me of the message again, Pope?
The message was... by the power of the Inquisition, I, Inquisitor Kifkin, do hereby request aid from Deathwatch. A kill team rapid response in order to retrieve an artifact of unknown provenance and deal with a local Xenos problem, including officers and unknown Orc and Eldari origin.
Okay, so Jason, the Captain Zachariah, or how should I pronounce it?
Zachariel.
Zachariel.
Yeah.
Zachariel is the first to get the notice to assemble his kill team. So the five of you actually, including Librarian, are currently on watch station, and it's your task to grab the crew together, and get them going. Could you first describe me how the captain looks like? What the captain looks like?
Sure. Without the helmet obviously sort of obscuring his face, the captain is, in comparison to, I think, a lot of veteran Space Marines, a little bit on the younger side, having only seen probably about 80 to 90 years of service, active service. He has a very sort of flat face, a nose that sloops down very sharply, eyes that are kind of narrowly set apart and perpetually squinting, a very thin jawline with a sort of goatee that kind of clings to his face perpetually. He doesn't really groom it, so it's not kept very regularly, but nevertheless, these very dark eyes that also match the very dark hair, shorn short, that he has. It's a very grim feature that kind of pervades him.
All right. So who's the first you would pick for your squad of the 4?
Of the 4, I'd probably be looking for, Brother Callio first, given that his experience would probably... his experience and personality is a welcome introduction to any sort of endeavor.
All right. So how does... can you describe Brother Callio?
Brother Callio, being a salamander and a volcanist, is built like a blacksmith. Like you would picture a blacksmith. The heavy, thick, layered muscles. He's solid. The boy is thick. And I mean like the neck like a bull thick. Yeah. No, actually it's 3 C's. He's thick. Shaved head. Eyes that tend to glow a little gold, maybe fire, sparky. Maybe not. Very just kind of jovial, happy, go lucky. Head is shaved, skin like obsidian, and just, oh, we're gonna go melt things. Let's go melt things. All right, let's go.
All right.
Probably relaxing in a forge somewhere. He's probably got a forge set up somewhere just because that's a good way to relax.
All right. I would say it's best to just assemble the group around the table for a short briefing before we set the journey. Then, Pope, could you describe Brother Narcissus for us as he approaches the table?
Brother Narcissus is there with a tin teacup that looks like a child's toy in his massive hands. Has a small novel, again, just dwarfed in this massive frame as he sits down at the table. Close cropped hair, for being a Death Eagle, kind of odd features in that instead of the typical raven black hair, has platinum blonde and is very well kept beard with braids. So almost, if you didn't know better, maybe Space Wolf, but no, there's no fangs, there's no irritation, nothing like that, but just polite, quiet, sits down at the table, dog ears the page, sets the book down, sets his tea down, and then just settles into the chair.
All right. And the third member to our party, Brother Akrubo, if I pronounce that correct?
Yeah, Akrubo. He enters. He is a very, very large individual. Huge shoulders, huge muscular arms. His face, there is, with his face, it's a very strong, square jaw that is decorated with very thick grey beard that goes down to his chest. Intertwined in this really thick beard are various different bones of different animals that he's kind of tied together in his beard. One side of the beard, by here, you can see that the skin has been torn apart, and you can see more of his teeth there as kind of very kind of almost like cybernetics, but very small cybernetics just to keep it all together. It's almost like he wanted it to keep. It's like a scar of honor. His hair, he's got very much a receding hairline. It's almost all the way back, but he does have long kind of again matching his beard, grayish hair that just hangs over his shoulders. He's got grey eyes, very pale, and you've got age marks etched all over his face. But apart from the main scar there doesn't seem to be much scarage or anything. You get a few. If you were to look at his hands, you could quite clearly see that there's a lot there. There's many scars on his fingers, on his hand, possibly where he's just torn into something, and two very sharp, probably slightly bigger than you would expect even from a space wolf, fangs just in his mouth as he comes in, very imposing into the room, sits down and gives a wide grin.
All right. And the fifth member joining us for this meeting is Ultramarines librarian. It's Prometheus. He walks in. He is, as most often, he is wearing his power armor, which is very ornate, very old, adorned with purity seals, a cover over his head with wires running up to the back of his head across a cap. And he's walking with a large ornate staff, ancient, probably an artifact of sorts. He slowly walks in and sits down and says, we have a mission. Looking to the captain.
It would seem that way. Been called by an Inquisitor, Kifkin, as far as I can tell.
Kifkin, I've heard of this one.
You have? Should we be concerned?
I think he's relatively new to the roster in the sector.
Did the last one die? At this point, you'll see Zachariel kind of preparing whatever briefing he's got, or skimming through whatever briefing they have.
I have not read the report myself, but I believe so, yes. I think they were heading off to Scythe, I believe. Last time I heard of it. But that's all.
Zachariel will nod and continue sort of reading whatever report has been collected at this point.
Basically, the report gives you coordinates for Scythe as per briefing, and the expectation of orc encounters. I don't know if Kifkin actually attached any other details to the request.
Again, wanted a Deathwatch kill team prepped for unknown, orc, and Eldari.
Okay.
Also, if there were any specialists in infiltration, exfiltration, as well as those that have heavy demolition experience. Per request, considering that there is confirmed orc presence, and not fully confirmed, but rumored Eldari presence.
Looks like this one was made for you, Callio. Zachariel kind of smiles.
Yes, this should be fun.
I would assume so. Narcissus, you'll want to be extra vigilant. Apparently we're going to be facing some greenskins and Eldari.
Oh.
So, stabbed in the back, stabbed in the front. I'm sure you'll fix this up.
I'll bring an extra couple of med packs in that case.
Akrubo, you might be sticking to the psyker for this one. Want to be quiet as possible.
Quiet.
I know a favorite of yours.
Quiet is not what I do.
Yes,
I know
we all
you'll
heard you
try.
howling the other night.
I will endeavor to do that. No promises, though.
And Psycha, you'll turn to the Ultramarine at that point. Keep warp presence to a minimum. Apparently this is something of a silent operation.
I will make sure I am unseen.
If you could do that for the rest of us, that would be wonderful. You see Zachariel kind of roll his shoulders. Right.
Excuse me, before we go on, you said you know this Inquisitor that did the request. He is rather new, yes?
Yes, I believe recently promoted.
Do you believe he is just jumping at shadows? That this is no more than a simple task?
I believe I might have read one or two reports of him before he became an Inquisitor. And he does not strike me as a man who leaves out details in a report. So if there was any doubt, he would not have called for us.
Good.
Oh. You mentioned this now, Librarian. Thank you so much. Right. Enough dawdling. We know the task, or we at least know a version of it. We'll see if we cannot speak with the Inquisitor before we begin.
I assume that's where we're going, right?
Unless you have anything better to do, Librarian?
I shall prepare for some orc cullings then.
As shall we. He kind of reaches towards his bolter with like a chain bayonet at the end of it.
All right. So, lock everything down, grab gear, get ready for transport.
As soon as possible.
Let's go bring the Emperor's light and fire to some greenskins.
At least the fire.
Do we have a name
It's
for
pretty
your transport, by the way?
I don't believe so.
No, not yet.
No. Because, well, it's a spaceship. Spaceships have names, so we could call it Night's Vigil or something.
Let's see here. This is a Deathwatch transport.
Mm-hmm.
So, it would be probably a Hammer of Vengeance sort of deal.
Yeah, sure. Let's call it that. So it's basically
simple, easy to remember.
Yeah, it's basically enhanced for stealth and speed escort. So it will. It has a skeleton crew of mostly either space marine servants or servitors, machines running most of the systems on the ship, and any living beings are sworn to the ship and the Deathwatch. It's flown by a captain servant called Lucius, and you also host several tech marines who keep the ship running, who are non-combatants in terms of Deathwatch, but they're assigned to the ship. And Cephalus, which is your Black Star authorized pilot. He used to be a Dark Angel. Well, he is still a Dark Angel, but he's liaisoned to fly for you. So, it's about a 1 week flight through the warp. For those not familiar with the warp, maybe Tom, are you familiar with the warp?
Somewhat familiar, isn't it? Like
Somewhat
kind of like this really isn't that where chaos comes from? The warp or something like that.
Some say.
So some
Yeah.
say it comes
Yeah,
from
it's the worst place imaginable in the whole universe. It's basically
to travel.
Yeah, it's
Ha-
yeah.
Have you seen Event Horizon?
Yes.
Okay. Where that ship ended up, that's the warp.
Okay. Okay. Brilliant.
Time and space travels differently in the other realm, allowing for fast travel between systems, planets. But ships have a special protection layer on them to survive traversing the warp. And with the specialists on board, it takes about a week to get from Harata to Scythe. And there's no true issues on the way. There's no knocking sound like last time for the party that is not on the ship.
Furubu's going to be very unsettled. He doesn't like going in the warp. He doesn't like being cooped up. So he's going to be kind of like wherever there's space, just hammering away at something, eating, drinking, just keep him busy as often as he possibly can, because he does not like this place.
So, and how does the rest handle themselves during the travel?
Narcissus is just going over all of his gear, making sure that his armor's cleaned, polished, bolt, pistol, maintenanced, power sword, maintenanced, and just systematically going through like the regular monastic life of Space Marine, but just aboard the ship. And then whatever time is not spent on maintenance or in prayer is probably just going over whatever reports we've got on the system. Just trying to figure out whatever's unsafe, like local fauna, flora, disposition of poisonous critters, whatever else like environmental threats await the kill team on planet.
Okay. Cool.
Khalil's done pretty much the same thing. Once all of his gear is in order and ready to go, he's going to sleep. He's going to crawl into his nice little tube and he's going to sleep, because once we get down, who knows when we're sleeping again. So, going to relax. Nothing more to do. Everything is ready to go.
Yeah. And Zachariel, by contrast, he's kind of focused on the specifics of the mission, so not really concerned with the planet, but more with the enemies that have been reported, the Eldari and the Orc. And he's basically seeing if there's been any past interest from more the Eldar. He understands the Orcs are just kind of like a problem that happens every now and then, but the Eldar don't really act unless there's like a rhyme or reason behind it. So I think he's trying to gather as much information about past events, like, oh, is there a particular, not clan, they're not clans, but a particular group of Eldar who operated in the area historically, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Okay, so historically in this sector, there's not been much Elder activity. Every couple of decades, there's some pirates going around, mostly tied when the Orcs are not actively pirating. So they do kind of vie for dominance on hijacking trade vessels, so to say. But it's all in an ebb and flow long term. Nothing specifically pointing towards this planet, though you do know that beyond Scythe lies Noma, which is a planet which has not been reconquered or conquered at all yet, because there's heavy orc activity going on there for the last couple of decades. There is an actual war effort going on to drive them back, but the last couple of years, some vessels have been called away. The Imperium is recovering a bit, building up strength again to push them back. In terms of Eldar, they have actually not been seen in probably like 30 or 40 years, longer than the last report.
So why would they return? Zachariel's just going to be chewing on that question as the ship makes it through warp.
Okay. As for Brother Narcissus' research, the planet you're targeting is a mostly jungle-covered planet. There's some tundras, some mountains. The north and the south pole are quite cold, but most of it is most of the rest of the planet is covered in dense jungles. A lot of it has been, a part of it has been cleared for prospecting, and but those parts that are still covered in jungle, you can expect alien wildlife, unintelligent species, from small to large. The largest you would say you can find in the records are mammoth-sized predators, but they are rare.
Sorry, is there a human colony on this planet we're going to?
There was a human colony,
But it was lost,
before. Depends on how much Kifkin put in the report of orc damage to the planet.
Human settlement is in place. Assume all humans have either been captured or killed.
Oh, yeah. That's. I remember those. Yes. So there was a industrious compound, basically prospecting and building out industry on the planet for resources. There's a main capital which shows in the records, which was Scythe Landing, and it housed about 20 to 30,000 pioneers. Is that the word?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Yeah.
With several settlements focusing on key areas for resources, resource prospecting mostly. The librarian, he takes a strict sleeping cycle. Every 24 hours, he ensures he has 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Outside of that, you can find him in the chapel. It's a small ship, but a small by 40k standards still means it's several hundred meters long, and houses all facilities you would need for a squad like this: a dojo, small chapel, armaments, and he'll be there meditating or praying with either crew or himself.
During this trip, I would like to go up to Captain Tarian, and he would come up. Captain, something from the report piqued my interest. It said something of a artifact for retrieval. Does it say what else this artifact is?
I imagine that we're down at the firing range, that Zachariel is sort of getting in his bolter practice for the day. Was there anything about the artifact in specific, or was it just artifact retrieval?
Probably that.
It is primarily artifact retrieval, held important by both Orc and Eldar. Origin of said artifact unknown. Armor piece.
So we destroy it?
Assumedly, or at least retrieve it. If it's of importance to the Greenskins and to the Eldar, then I think it is safe to say he'll let forth a sort of volley that we should probably have it.
Something that such corrupt creatures has no place within the Imperium. I say we destroy it.
Zachariel is going to kind of pause. Your grievances against this particular objective articulated have been noted, brother.
He nods his head in acknowledgement, in respectful acknowledgement. It's not. He does respect the captain, and just walks off and gets back to smashing things.
Zachariel, at the mean point, now that it's sort of in his head, he can't let go that the artifact is maybe something you hold onto and not destroy, as he just pumps a poor training dummy, like just full of bolters. Just fun times.
All right. Is there any other interesting conversations or things during transit?
Snoring
If
away
that's-
peacefully.
Yeah, snoring away peacefully. Well,
Kellio learned after the first time traveling through the warp with Akrubo that it was just better to go to sleep because the pacing and the destruction was enough to just Kellio just kind of,
so
Could
Akrubo
you
and
sit
Kallio.
down.
So the two of you done missions together before.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I'd
How
like
about
to
the
think
rest?
Akrubu's done missions with Zachariel
Zachariel.
Zachariel as well.
Yeah.
I think he's got a respect for the captain as well. I was going to say probably hadn't done with Brother Narcissus yet, because I'd like to have someone new. Just if that's okay.
I like the idea of like Narcissus is like, this is probably his third mission after arriving at the watch station, and like the previous two were just milk runs. So like no real action, was just there in case someone got injured. They weren't even expecting death. It was just, okay, somebody might have lost a hand, have you nearby to do the things that you're supposed to do in case of hand removal.
Maybe actually, Pope Narcissus might have been on. Gotta grab my list of names of planets for that. Locations. There we go. On Nylata. On Nylata
Okay.
5. For the cleanup of a location set to host a corrupted cultist. Just to double check on all the bodies if they were dead and there was no infestation that could spread, so to say.
Yeah, no, that sounds like, yeah, ideally it's a milk run. He hasn't really seen any action since getting here, and everything's been really, really quiet. So he's treating this like another milk run.
Okay.
Like, this is an incredibly quiet sector.
Okay. All right. Then Sicarios worked with Akrubo, with Kallio as well.
Yep. And I think maybe he was maybe not part of the milk run, but he knew a couple of people that worked with Narcissus before.
Yeah.
And he's worked, I would say, with the librarian the longest, and he's not enjoyed it.
Yeah. So for Space Marines terms, librarians are the weird people. I mean, they have impeccable faith most often, but they deal with powers that should not be used by a military company like that. But they are damn useful. And the ones that get detached to Deathwatch squads often have some really cool tricks that help you through combat. So that's what you'll let's say one of the things you know about Prometheus is that he did I say the name correct? I think I did, right? Yeah, Prometheus. Is his force? He often fights with his force staff, welding it like an axe, but its power enhanced both by psychic powers as well as lightning shooting from the staff. That's one of his favorite moves, but he can be more subtle if you need as well. He's done Jedi mind tricks on people on your request 1 or 2 times. So librarians,
Just
right?
in case.
Just in case.
And
yeah. And you wanted to say something?
Zachariel's suspicion of the librarian is largely unfounded. He's just dealt with enough Blood Raven Psychers to know that they can really do a number on people. So it's just sort of stay out of the blast radius. Like, use it sparingly, and whenever you do, plug your ears, just in case.
Yeah. All right. So maybe let's have a look if we can find some slightly more cheerful music. We'll see if this is better. Yeah, because we'll drop out of warp at some point, which is about a week after setting off. You left within a day of getting the go, because there was haste to the message. You drop out about an hour out from the location subspace speed, like impulse speed. That's the word I'm looking for. And basically, you have the planet in front of you, and the first thing you will get from your crew is that there's 3 energy signatures in orbit around the planet, orc vessels. You enter a stealth run, of course, as per protocol. You're not in a... while the escort can take a beating, it's not meant to engage targets.
Do we have visual or other sort of confirmation of the presence of the Emperor's Son anywhere near us?
That's a question for Kifkin.
The Emperor's Son, based on Kifkin's words, is just like above the upper atmospheric layer of the planet, using it to shield it from most sensors, especially the orc ones, and maintaining station in that position.
Yeah. Let's say you get the 4th vessel, which is at the opposite side of the 3 orc onslaught class escorts. So basically, they're both stationary, pretty stationary in orbit at the opposite sides of the planet. You don't have visual from this range. But you do get a diagram for the Emperor's Son. If you, they tag it with that. Oh, that's something.
That is something. What is it?
It's a cheer.
Hey.
Well, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, 12-side guy. 100. I don't know what 100 gets, but thank you. All right. So you do know it's the Emperor's Son, and you do know it's 3 orc vessels on the opposite side.
Okay. Can we get a hailing frequency out to the Emperor's Son?
Yeah. You can get a pretty secure link to them.
I would like to do so. Want to speak to this new Inquisitor.
You first get in contact with the first mate, which is I should have all these things in front of me. I don't know the name out of my head. Well, doesn't matter. You get contact with the ship, and you get put in contact with Inquisitor fairly quickly. So, Kifkin, you are hailed by an unseen vessel on encrypted wavelengths. Well, you know, being Kifkin, that it's the Deathwatch.
Yeah, Kifkin will immediately get to the bridge, stand right in front of the view screen and have everything put on, and just go, "Greetings and salutations."
Captain Tarian doesn't really know how to respond, so he just gets straight to the point. Greetings, Inquisitor. I understand you requested our presence.
Yes, there is an artifact of unknown make, old, that has been absconded with from this planet. Which is riddled with tombs. Apparently, some previous civilization predating human colonization of this system. It was
Older than
being
the
held in a
Imperial?
vault. Unknown. But definitely old and older than the Imperial presence in the system. It was being held in the vault. I have a good authority that vault may have been Eldari in nature. And when the Eldari went to retrieve the item, an Orc war boss showed up, killed them, absconded with the item. He is still on planet. His 3 escorts are holding in a pattern on station above the planet. Also, we were able to pick up a ghost on scanners, which I am fairly certain are the Eldari. They are probably waiting in system for the Orcs to leave to then ambush them in space combat using their superior firepower and speed to retrieve the artifact. You need to beat both of them.
Simple enough task.
Glad to hear it.
This information which you gathered, by what means was it gathered exactly?
Part of it was through sensors, part of it was a previous investigation that caused my promotion. And third and foremost, due to the sanctioned psyker that is part of my retinue, having multiple visions of what's happening. Also, just piecing it together based upon previous experience. There are probably a number of armor pieces throughout the entire sector. This is the second piece. The first is already in Inquisitorial hands.
With the mention of Psyker, Prometheus gives you like a look, but doesn't say anything.
Zachariel similarly just sort of like, whatever, man, just let the guy talk. Fine enough. While I am remiss to trust the visions of a particular individual, if you stand by her or them, we stand by your orders. The war boss, the whereabouts of them.
Should be near a clearing on planet. There is a number of settlements. I am assuming that almost all of them are abandoned or the local population has been slaughtered, though I'm not certain that the Orcs did it considering the lack of devastation. So there may be a unknown Xenos force on planet that is also in the running to try and get this artifact. Or it may be that in breaching the vault, the defenses of the tombs activated. So please be on guard.
So, Pope, with the week of extra scanning time on the planet, the main things you noticed is the 3 Orc vessels. They are now in geostationary orbit above. They have been for a week above a specific spot on the planet, which is relatively close to where you're guessing the ruins are, especially with some extra info from Matilda. And Orc activity on the rest of the planet has been... they have been fighting here and there, but the planet does not have enough forces to actually put up a fight. And wherever you've seen them fight, because, well, you can take a pretty good look at it, they have taken over the activities of the Imperium, basically prospecting, scavenging, gathering resources, putting up logistics, and bringing it to the other side of the planet, where the 3 onslaughts are stationed.
The Orcs are gathering resources. All the while, they are probably looking for another vault. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not disrupted, that they will continue throughout the entire sector going on a treasure hunt, trying to find these armor pieces. which at the same time we're dealing with the Eldari, and, well, they're the thing that I'm more concerned about. An orc campaign can be easily stopped with the destruction of a singular planet with the war boss on said planet. However, Eldari are more pernicious and deadly patient Xenos.
Zachariel is just going to stare at the screen, just sort of wondering why you're saying any of this aloud, because he has personal experience with both, and it's like, you're preaching to the choir here, man. We know.
So,
He's new.
so as per usual.
And the
An orc-
senator would tell you he likes to talk.
An orc campaign is an ever-present fear, one that we must consider, and one that we must halt. The Eldari have yet to show themselves, yes? In a substantive manner.
Substantive, yes, they have not shown themselves, but I believe they were caught with their pants down by this war boss, which makes me very concerned.
Well, then, until they pull them back up and give us problems, we must focus at the issue at hand. The elimination of the war boss and the retrieval of the artifact.
Indeed. Whatever resources that I can grant you, I will gladly give you. However, considering both of our ships and the number of orcish escorts, and not knowing precisely what is hidden on that planet, I would like everyone to proceed with the utmost caution. Because, let's face it, if both our ships are downed, no one's coming out here to save us.
We shall take your words under advisement, Inquisitor.
All right. Well, with that, I'll leave you to it. If you need to contact me, use the same secure line. Emperor protects.
Emperor's light be with you. He'll close the comms at that point and run his hands through his hair, kind of scratching at the back of his head. Bloody mess. Fine. Need to retrieve some sort of bloody artifact from the jaws of the greenskins. Simple enough, I suppose. Librarian, gather the others. We head planet side. Intercept the war boss and disrupt whatever machinations he has.
Affirmative. We're taking the Black Star.
Indeed we are, and you are going to be keeping an eye out for whatever psychic drivel might be emanating from that artifact.
He nods and walks off to were the rest at this conversation as well, or is the librarian now fetching them?
A Kruger probably wasn't there.
Yeah,
No, neither was Cleo.
Definitely not there.
No,
Cleo
Well,
was
first,
waking up, going through his pre-battle routine.
he'll first check if Kaleo is awake already, and
Oh yeah,
because that
It's a
takes the
drop down.
longest to get ready. Sorry.
yeah. So yeah, he took it. He just before they dropped out of warp is when he woke up, and was going through his pre-battle routine, which included creating a new brand for this battle, and branding himself on his face, adding on to probably close to half a dozen. That's just on his face alone. There are others scattered all over his body, but they're covered by armor for the most part.
All right. The librarian, he basically rings the buzzer on your cell, sleeping cell. compartment. Whatever the name is in the ship.
Yeah. You hear a soft clang as the branding iron is placed down, and he opens it up. And there's the odor of burning skin wafting through a little bit of wisps of smoke. What is it, Prometheus?
Brother Cleo, we are about to make landfall. We have a mission.
But Prometheus, you need to lighten up.
You know I can never rest. Never
No.
truly rest.
No, but I think you need to just maybe back off the intensity just a little bit.
How many missions have we done? You know this is me at my calmest.
The calm is good, but you know this just gotta go.
He never smiles. Like you feel that he's smiling, but he's not.
Yeah. See, almost there. All right, let's go do this.
The captain has called for a briefing, so I will get the rest.
Right.
And he'll
All right. I will meet
walk
you there.
off to where would Narcissus be?
Narcissus is probably already getting all of his gear checked and ready on the Black Star as soon as we dropped out of orbit. Just going through the Black Star's resources, getting sword and bolt pistol stowed away in the armory aboard the Corvus, and just pretty much hanging out in the hangar bay.
All right. He'll quickly know where you are. I mean, he only has to ask several servants to get proper directions, and he'll walk into the hangar bay and greet you, brother Narcissus, with the same non-smiling face.
Brother Prometheus.
The captain has called for a briefing. We are to make landfall.
About time. All right, lead the way. Just taciturn, ready to go.
And with a really short walk to the dojo, he'll probably find Brother Krumo there, and basically just knocks on the wall when he walks in. It's time.
You'll turn, look him up and down, and then do one final smash against what was there. And good. My claws were getting twitchy. And he starts walking.
Mm-hmm. So the squad assembles in the briefing room. You have a hollow desk with a layout of the scheduled landing area, which you can move around as you please, Sicario.
Fantastic.
So what's your plan?
All right. So the 3 orc ships are locked in geostationary orbit around what we assume to be the artifact site, yes?
Mm-hmm. Close by.
Close by, at the very least.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the librarian cast out his consciousness to see the highest concentration of warp energy, to see if that assists in identifying where the artifact is at the present moment, or could be, at least. I'll also have him see, just in case, if there's a complete and utter lack of warp energy somewhere, because that might be equally as bad.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have him sightsee, so to say, on the other side.
Sightsee.
What you... he does not have that great power in out of body experiences, so to say.
Then
it's not his
I'll
strength.
have him. Yeah, I'll have him do that as soon as we land on planet.
Yeah.
I'll assume that there's probably like a general area. I want us to land either in the middle of it or slightly off center.
Yeah. So what you can get from your aspects is, are you going to run the ship up close, the spaceship?
Close as we can.
Yeah. You can get fairly close without compromising sensors, so to say. And what you get from the area underneath the 3 onslaughts is that it's basically... There used to be a prospecting site. It now looks like a scrapyard on the sensors. And there's a clearing in the forest towards the north for several hundred meters, so to say, where there's something like a dig site. That's what sensors give you. You know out of experience that your Corvus Blackstar dropship, which is a very sleek, almost like Avengers-like flyer, it can run stealth in almost any condition. So it can get you almost inside of any base. You can probably land it on the onslaught if you had to.
If we're particularly adventurous.
Yeah. So you can pretty much set it down anywhere you want, with its own risk, of course, without getting picked up by most sensors.
That site used to be an excavation, now it's more a scrapyard. I think we'll want to settle there because orcoid persons and orcoid species are notorious for looting. So,
yeah.
You know, it's sort of following the ants, like seeing if they come and pick off a few scraps. We just follow suit.
Yeah, the scrapyard is relatively oval shaped, almost a kilometer long. So are you gonna try to land there or nearby, or what's?
Land amidst the scrap, I think.
Okay.
Sort of camouflage.
And as you asked the librarian to do a walk around once you land, right?
Yep.
Then, as you ask him, he'll be okay. I will prepare myself for that. So, Captain, what's the plan? Yes, the
Bolter
rest
out.
gathers.
Yeah, bolter out, helmet, shortly going
This
to
is
go
on
on.
the ship, by the way. Still,
Yeah.
before we actually leave.
Our primary objective is to either secure or otherwise disable the artifact. The elimination of the Orc war boss is secondary. So, you walk around, find what you can. We'll follow it as best we can. And, God Emperor being kind, we'll be out of here before too long.
What is the rules of engagement, Captain?
On my orders, and not a moment before.
As you wish.
Kaleo,
Yes.
there might be some terrible, terrible holes that you'll be making. Hope you're prepared.
Oh, always. It's been a while since we've made a few holes in things. He's kind of almost petting Camelta like a dog.
Narcissus?
Yes.
Keep everyone alive, will you?
That's the job.
I have a feeling your job will be especially difficult today. And no, don't ask why. He's going to put on his helmet at that point.
Captain,
And
will we be investigating the ruins first, or the scrapyard?
The scrapyard is merely a cover. Let us investigate the ruins. And only, and he will emphasize this point, only to the point of relevance. Any more forbidden knowledge, and I think the Black Library will have to become involved. And I'm sure we don't want that. He kind of looks around and chuckles.
Affirmative.
Fine enough. Ready yourselves, Space Marines. He's going to basically get ready for the drop.
Yeah. Okay. The way down, it's not very long in terms of time. Before you actually enter the atmosphere, Prometheus will start leading in prayer to the Emperor for a safe landing, safe entry into the atmosphere. And as you fly down, there's a couple of small windows you can look out of. There's also camera systems allowing you a good view of where you're going. And most of this area is still covered in jungles. There's quite a clearing around what looks like a scrapyard. And this is the first time I'll have everyone roll something, because everyone can roll me perception. See if you can pick up any details. Basically, it's a d20 plus your skill called perception.
If you don't mind, I'm going to use it because I think I have 3 points of luck, if I'm not mistaken.
Those are tied to your other character.
No,
these are.
Oh, you have this. Oh, the captain has luck. Okay.
Yeah, Captain has lucky. So,
yeah. All right.
16 plus something. 16 plus a lot, probably.
29 total for Kaleo.
I was only 15 for a crew.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, only 28 for me.
Yeah. So
that would be a 24.
A 24. So as you look down upon the scrapyard, Akrubo, you see what looks like a scrapyard. For the rest, it looks more like already built structures. It's there's activity going on. There's some turrets sticking out, some large turrets as well, and most of it looks connected as well.
I'm going to immediately go to the captain of the vessel itself. Pilot, yeah.
Tech Marine.
Yeah.
You're going up to Cephalus.
Yeah, Cephalus. Get us to the outskirts now.
And he'll affirmative, and he'll veer off
closer to the ruins if you can.
Close to the ruins. He'll take a bit of a detour around the scrapyard, sliding almost as soon as you're within the more dense, oxygen-rich atmosphere. The ship, the dropship, goes into a sort of stealth glide mode, and silently goes around for a spacefaring ship.
As silently as
around
possible
towards the ruins. Captain, I've got a good spot. Think I can land here in the dense jungle.
Don't think, land. And he's just going to keep scanning, keeping eyes on the scrapyard.
He starts pushing buttons and takes the Corvus down to a really small clearing in the middle of the jungle, about 200-300 meters away from the ruins where you suspect them to be.
Bad news, everyone. They're already entrenched, and unfortunately organized, to a degree that I think most of us here would find disconcerting. We'll need to act more cautiously. than originally anticipated.
Yes, because we blend.
As well enough as anything, Callio. I'm gonna pat the shoulder pauldron and disembark the vessel.
Mm-hmm. What standing order do you give Cephalus? Stay on ground?
Nearby geospatial orbit. Don't want to give the Greenskins even the whiff of an opportunity to loot this.
The Technically will always stay in the ship, by the way. So,
Fair
okay. I will stay nearby in stealth for you. Just as a quick side note on the Black Star, it's armed with twin-linked assault cannons, and it also has a prow-mounted las cannon array. So in a pinch, it can deal as cavalry, work as cavalry.
Be available as backup just in case. Plans so rarely survive first contact with the enemy.
That's what makes us great, Sicario. Morpheus says. Prometheus says.
Indeed it does, librarian. Indeed it does. Indeed. Get on solid ground.
Did you still want me to walk ahead?
Those were your orders.
And he'll kneel down on one knee, put his prayer book in front of him, opens it, closes his eyes, and it's almost as if he's sleeping in that pose. But you all feel and you smell a sort of ozone as Prometheus steps out of his body, his mind steps out of his body and starts scouting ahead. It will take a couple of minutes before he comes back, so it's a good time to have a conversation, or if not, he'll come back in 2 minutes.
Kaleo, I think, is just kind of walking a very short perimeter, keeping an eye out for anything that might be coming.
A crew brew. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, he's just keeping watch.
Mm-hmm.
A crew brew is going to step off. He hasn't got his helmet on, and he's going to take a big whiff, a big smell of the surroundings, just to get the taste of the planet from his heightened senses. And he breathes it in. He gives a big grin, and then he puts on his wolf-shaped helmet, which has like a big... It's primarily black, but it's got a yellow stripe that runs through it. And he's got on his power armor just furs that go around his neck down onto... just further down onto his power armor, with one glistening yellow pauldron of the Space Wolf and the other one with the... I'm assuming black and something with Deathwatch, I'm imagining is something like that.
Yes, a black winged skull, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he'll
of the sort.
kind of just hang around mainly by the entrance, try to make not as much noise as he possibly can, but just looking out at the tree lines, seeing if he can sense something.
Yeah.
Zachariel is taking a similar patrol.
Hang on. Let's make it a jungle, because we're in a jungle, right? Tom, you can roll me a perception.
Okay, I'm not very good at perception, but I'll give it a go.
And I'm gonna give you some special info because you're a space wolf, so it's...
All right, so I got 17 plus 7, which is 24. Oh, sorry, what else did you give me?
Well, basically, I'm gonna give you a different description because you're a space wolf with heightened senses.
Cool.
Cool. So, as you take in the environment, you don't smell prey. Well, you smell critters. You hear critters as well. Everybody does. It's a dense jungle around you. And you're very sure that within 200 or 300 meters, there's Nothing larger than a cat or a fox.
Okay. I'm not telling anyone else. I
No,
wanna
that's.
keep-
Who else was doing something?
Narcissus is going to just make sure that the Narthesium is set properly onto his left gauntlet, checking the mag locks on his armor one last time before walking down the gangplank. And then as soon as he does, just make sure everything with his HUD works, cycling through different spectrums of vision, and setting the mission timer.
Kaleo is walking up perimeter around. He's already disembarked. He went right after the captain.
Okay.
Bloody mess of a place, don't you think?
At least this one's green.
Even more green given local fauna.
Well, it all burns the same.
You hear a little chuckle from a Kruber with that.
Same with Zachariel, just sort of like. So no. Yeah, in character. Librarian, your work finished yet?
There's no response until like 30 seconds later, when he wakes up again. The ruins
Had a
are
good sleep?
abandoned.
Abandoned?
As in, there's no orc around until you actually move towards the scraps.
Emperor be praised, you know what abandoned means.
You asked.
Fine enough.
It's different there though. Shielded.
By what?
The walls themselves. They're more than just physical shields.
Would this be somewhere perhaps where one might keep, I don't know, an artifact of incredible importance?
Yes.
Then non-physical walls be damned. Deathwatch? He's going to continue marching toward the ruins.
Just as a quick side note, all of you have communications, which are basically on all the time, unless you specifically turn it off.
Yeah.
In your helmet, no one else will be able to hear. You'll have an earpiece if you don't wear a helmet. So.
Okay.
Kaleo
Captain.
just falls into formation.
Captain, are we not looking for Orc who holds artifact? I do not think Orc would be smart enough to go in ruin.
There is no guarantee that the orc has the artifact, only that it has been searching for it. Besides, I often find that the object of desire to an orc's heart leads them to tarry near to it. We'll see if we can't find you a war boss to slaughter soon enough.
I look forward to it.
Yes, I'm sure you do. It's just, Zachariel just kind of keeps that off of comms and continues forward.
Yeah, so as you approach the ruins, it starts out as an excavation site. There's still some broken down prospectors equipment, some drills, shovels, machinery as well. Though most machinery has been gutted, anything of value taken out. Then as you push closer into the ruins, you enter a tunnel going down. I've been in here. Prometheus says, I've been in here. There's no one around, so we should be safe to take a look.
Fair enough. I'll take point. Callio, Narcissus, follow suit. Akrubo, stay with Prometheus.
How wide is this tunnel that we're going into?
So the ruins you're entering are old. They predate mankind probably, though it's all most of it has on the surface is overgrown with fungus and plants. It's a dark gray stone. It's not Eldar, as far as you know. It's not Orc. It's definitely not Orc. Yeah.
Can I personally, having a little bit of knowledge in Xenos, see what type of construction these ruins are then?
Yeah, well, do you have an expertise in it?
I do, actually.
You can roll me
Expertise
that.
in Xenos.
Okay, as you
All
do,
right.
the tunnel, the stairs leading down have been breached by machinery. Human machinery, probably. You're not sure. And are wide enough for 2 Space Marines to fight alongside each other. Probably 6 or 7 humans to stand side by side. So that would be a meter or 3.
Okay, and that's 30 for Xenos.
A 30. A 34, a 34 Xenos. Like just 30, right?
Yes, a 30 total for
Xenos.
Xenos. There we go.
It's nothing you've seen before. It is akin to some ancient civilizations on other planets in the sector, but none of it on planets where there's known Xenos still alive. So it definitely predates occupation of the sector. You've been on missions before, and you've seen similar stone, yet never in relation with a artifact.
Very curious. Narcissus, stay behind Callio and I. Callio, I may be asking you to make some noise here very soon. Zakariel is going to sort of charge forward and see if there's any immediate enemy presence within the ruins themselves, like deeper in.
Callio checks the charges and it makes sure that he's like just half a step off from the captain, not following directly behind him.
Yeah, so the stairs, they lead down at least 60 or 70 meters before they open into a tunnel, a short tunnel, which then it ends with a destroyed stone door. It's there's actually some ruined machinery on the floor, definitely Imperial, and. But the way the door is broken down is definitely not by Imperials. The machines that are broken could never have breached this door. Is a quick judgment you can make. But the door itself, it's in ruins on the floor, and beyond it is a large room, a square room, which is about 60 by 60 meters. Its ceiling goes almost all the way up the same distance you went down, so definitely a meter or 30, 40. And on the opposite side of the room is something resembling a vault door, and it looks to have been opened.
Fine enough.
The two of you can roll me perception. The rest follows as well, I think.
I would hope so.
Yeah, well.
Oh, the librarian and Akruba were told to stay outside, right, at the entrance.
No, it was just that y'all were told to stick together.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If,
Okay. I'll
if
be
you
at
want
the
to
back.
follow, you can come along.
Yeah, we'll be at the back.
Only 22 for Kaleo.
And another 30.
Okay. Well, I'll say that Kaleo spots it first. But there's 5 bodies on the floor. What is like 20 meters to the left.
He's going to relay that information over comms and begin approaching the bodies to see if he can determine what they are.
Yeah. Have you ever seen an Eldar?
Most likely, given that he does have expertise in Xenos. I mentioned
Okay.
if he's not someone actually in person that was alive, he's certainly seen images of dead ones.
Yes. What you find on the floor is the remains of a battle scene with the bodies of 5 Eldar, broken, cut up, shot up, scattered on the floor. One of them had really ornate armor. And
Does this look like
there's also
something
several
that the-
orc bodies as well.
Okay. Well, it looks like the orcs and the Eldar have already met each other. And there was a possible disagreement over who owned whatever's in the vault. Not sure which side won.
Assume the worst. And Zachariel kind of pauses as he's kind of looking at those bodies. Narcissus, see if you can reconstruct the battle scene, at least hypothetically, given the wounds and whatnot. Akrubo,
Yes.
Kaleo, accompany me to the vault.
He nods and follows through.
Prometheus will stand over Narcissus as he does in his investigation.
Librarian, see if you can go ahead and determine anything further about the Eldar. Possible affiliations or anything given their armor and, well...
I will work with Narcissus on this.
Zachariel nods and turns to the vault.
So we'll first go into the vault with the 3 of you. And then we'll go to Narcissus and Prometheus. Thank you for the cheer. Anonymous cheerer. 5. It's perfect. So in the vault, the door itself is almost like 5 or 6 layered. It's been opened the correct way, so it's still standing open. The machinery behind it is hidden, or it's definitely not mechanical, or it's so smoothly incorporated that you cannot see. And behind the door is a small vault, almost black walls, obsidian black, with a pedestal in the middle, and the pedestal does not hold any items.
They have already taken it.
Indeed, your powers of perception prove more and more astounding.
Kaleo. Just a flat response. You're gonna have time to poke the wolf later. Is there any way to sort of note if there are any fluctuations in energy within this space? Obviously, with the walls not being physical, I want to see if there's
It smells still like old this area had not been moved for a long time before the Eldar or the Orcs came in here. And on the floor, there's no dust either. At least not in this room. There's dust coming from the outside that's in the big hall, but here it's clean.
Kruber's going to take his helmet off and take another big whiff to see if he can get any sense of anything foreign, anything that doesn't seem, apart from us, anything that seems out of place.
Yeah. You can roll me a perception for that.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
13.
13. You're very sure there's no living beings in here around you.
And once I've done that, he puts the helmet back on.
Okay.
We are wasting time here.
Narcissus, you wanted to reconstruct the scene. How do you go about that?
2 parts. First, doing just a quick look over the bodies. Want to use treatment to get an understanding of what each one of them died wounds-wise, if there's anything that's not blatantly obvious. And then an investigation check to just try and get a feel for the room and piece together what probably happened.
Okay. You can roll me those. And as soon as you're done with the bodies of the Eldar, Prometheus will walk up to them and search them as well.
All right. So first the treatment roll. Nat 20 plus 16, so 36.
Okay.
And then for investigation will be a total of a 19.
Okay. Yeah, both nice. And Prometheus gets a 23 on his investigation on the elder bodies. Your medical reconstruction tells you that this was a short and brutal battle. The orcs that are dead, some of them have been killed by psyker powers, from what you can see, similar to how Prometheus might have tortured. Oh, well, you don't know that. The rest knows how he tortures people, but you probably don't know yet. And if you've ever seen a wound by psychic electricity, but clean, very clean. That's 2 of the orcs definitely killed that way. The Eldar, 2 of them have been shot up by large slugs, definitely orc weapons. The other 3, one of them is cut in half with by a giant claw. The flesh is rotting, by the way, so it's been more than a week, definitely. And let's see, we had one is cut in half, another has been cut up by crude weapons, swords or axes, probably a large axe. And the last one looks like he exploded.
All right, just piecing all that together, looking at everything, just waiting for the captain to get back to report.
Okay.
Like, just after poking and prodding things, for the most part, he just like stands at attention in the center of the room and just seems so displeased at everything. Just
yeah. So that's Prometheus. He checks the Eldar and he tells you, Narcissus, this one was important.
the one that exploded.
No, it's the one that exploded. It's the one that was cut in half.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no! Actually, no. It was the one that exploded. Sorry, one step back. It was the one that exploded. With your net 20, you also know that he probably died before he exploded.
Huh.
He was. I think he was one of their elders, a Farseer, I believe.
Okay.
He has comms on, so the rest can hear this, by the way.
Sounds very disconcerting.
Captain, now that everyone's like actually chattering on the comm, this was short and brutal. Definitely have some sort of mech or war boss using a power claw. They've got standard orcish weaponry, heavy sluggers. Don't know what caused that one Eldar to explode, but they were dead before the explosion. Also, bio lightning was used against a couple of the orcs.
Prometheus, I trust that you might be able to explain why a Farseer might explode after dying.
Well, my guess would be explosives.
I'm going to now do my expertise
That's a
in.
joke. That's a joke.
You hear a very long sigh.
And you hear
No,
Kaleo laughing.
Kaleo,
knowing-
have you been trying
Kaleo's
to
such
convince
a,
Prometheus to
true-
smile?
No,
Again.
to truly kill a Farseer, you have to kill with Soulstone too. That will take an explosion. Or cause an explosion. I've never tried.
I suppose we found a new facet for your service to the Emperor to take place. The Farseer's body is of some importance.
Callie, at this point, would we know that an orc would know enough to kill an Eldar that way? Recognize what a Farseer was, and that was the way to kill them?
Oh, you can. What you know of it is probably not. Not from what you've seen. Orcs are cunning, and whatever they do is always natural. So either one of them naturally knew what to do, or there's something else going on. But you can ask the rest of the group. Maybe they have some insights.
Yeah, so fighting orcs, just they're orcs. How would an orc know that was a Farseer, and that you could blow it up by hitting it Soulstone?
It is possible he did.
orc?
It is possible he didn't. It is possible he just saw Eldar and just threw explosives at it. He got lucky.
No.
After he already killed it. You said it was dead before it exploded.
Yes.
So why blow it up?
This is an orc clan that knows how to maintain geostationary orbit. This is an orc clan that has, for all intents and purposes, finagled away through cunning or brutality to find artifacts of incredible value and power. This is a clan that values intelligence, a terrifying prospect all its own.
The orcs, by the way, the orc bodies, they have the same bright yellow insignia with a red battery on them.
Immediately, I'm going to try and see if I even tangentially recognize that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
Cleo's doing the same.
Grubu is
All right,
like...
anyone with expertise Xenos can roll that.
Okay.
12. That's going to be a 24.
19.
21.
21. The two of you that rolled above 20 will have a bit of extra info. What Kalia will know, and the rest as well, by the way, is that it is a known clan in terms of warfare. They've been labeled the Bat Boys, as in Battery Boys shortened. And they are led by a mech boss. That's the other two. Both Akrubo and Sakario will know this either from missions or reports. A mech boss who goes by the name of Duko, which I will type down in chat for you. And they are a technology-focused clan. So they other orc clans come to them with the orc currency to buy stuff. Guns, ships.
Well, I think we know why he wanted the artifact.
Indeed. Well, I suppose it's good enough that we're dealing with the smarter ones instead of the stronger ones. Gives you less of a challenge, and I'll tap Akrubo's chest.
He'll just stay.
Zakariel is looking at the body of the Farseer.
Mm-hmm. It's basically bits and pieces shattered within a 3-meter radius. Mostly recognizable by the pieces of armor that have been torn off.
Why are we still here? We know where orcs are. We know they've got artifact. I say we attack.
And but they've had it for a week. Why are they still here?
Maybe they are too dumb to understand what it is. I do not know. I do not care.
And yet smart enough to kill a Farseer.
We are not Farseers.
No, we're not.
I'm none expert on greenskins. Can they get possessed?
I have seen greenskins being drawn to do things from an external party, yes. I've seen it before. It could be a third party at work here.
Exactly. Mark the Farseer's body for reclamation. We'll go towards the scrapyard and have our transport run strafing runs against the encampment. Hopefully flush out a bit of them and at least draw out the war boss.
Sir, I think I have another way in. I can hide us from their minds and get close.
Hide us then. Calio, set charges amidst the encampment's fortifications. The turrets most especially. We'll want to disable them as surreptitiously as possible.
It takes a lot of willpower to maintain that, so we have to get as close as we can by normal means.
Fair enough. Then we'll go now, keep the strafing run as a backup. Calio, ready to charges. Narcissus, mark the Farseer's body for reclamation, as I ordered.
Yes, Captain.
Do you want to blow these runs?
Don't seem to be doing anyone any harm.
You don't have the explosives to blow this up, so it's kind of...
Blow a few chunks out of the wall, just for good measure.
Yeah.
Makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a confidence booster.
Yeah, well.
Just casual decimation of, like, millennia old ruins.
It's an appetizer.
Farcio was someone of importance. I think even the Xenos would recognize that. And should they wish to recover the body, I think it would behoove us to have a bargaining chip of sorts.
Yes, Captain.
Let's go then. You see Zachariel begin to, charge out of the ruins. Akrubo, Prometheus,
You'll follow.
Calio, Narcissus, follow behind as quickly as possible.
Okay. So, Pope, you make a doggy bag?
Yeah, I make a doggy bag.
For the corpse of a Farseer. Good job.
Yeah, you got your to-go bag.
Giant
But,
Ziploc.
Also with that, he's going to pick through the other elven bodies and any gems that are set, because Narcissus doesn't really know that much about Eldar or orcs. He's more of a, we're fighting Tyranids kind of guy. So just grabbing the stones off the armor, if they can, anything that can come off that's like a light bezel, pulls off, throws in the doggy bag, and then just has like his sack of offal tied up and on his pack.
Okay.
So we now have Garbage Man Apothecary.
Yeah, well, it weighs almost nothing to you. Like, with your enhanced strength and power armor, it's kind of, like taking out the trash, but yeah, taking out the Xenos today. So you approach, you easily catch up to the rest. With the rest, what do you do to get closer? How do you approach the scrapyard?
Walk.
Walk
That's a crew suggestion.
very, very quietly. No, going to be sorry, going to be mainly trying to kind of obviously keep to the shadows and avoid the front entrance. Like, see if there are any more ramshackle portions where there, even if it's this, even if we have to go through like the sewer level of the video game, open
Captain,
a port.
I do have suggestion that could potentially help. Orcs are stupid. We make distraction away, draw out a lot of orcs, they go over there, we move in, easy peasy.
Make our job simpler.
I have done it before. Orcs are stupid.
Anybody object to a strafing run by our illustrious pilot?
Would you like me to take down the turrets first?
Plant the charges and explosives as we are cloaked by the librarian.
All right. And I look at a crewbo and I go, orcs are stupid. Not these orcs. I don't think that was lucky that got them that shot on the Farseer.
Perhaps not.
These are-
Perhaps these are veterans in killing Eldar.
Yes, but how would they find these ruins?
Do not know. That is why I suspect third party.
The more questions that we ask, the more time we waste.
All right. Kaleos, once we're cloaked, he's going to stealth forward and set charges on the turrets.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that Zachariel will try to find that gap first, and then as soon as that gap is found, order the strafing run at the entrance of the camp.
Okay. So as you approach the scrapyard, everyone can roll me a stealth, as well as a perception.
Stealth
Initiative.
first.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my second point of luck. So that's 14 plus 9. So 25 from me for stealth.
29 for Leo.
Okay, nice.
17 for Krubu for stealth.
That's sufficient.
12.
I wasn't the worst!
Oh. A 12 will be sufficient for now. A 10 was the
Okay.
DC for the initial
Oh, thank
sentries. So,
Really good.
and the perceptions.
Oh, my
Perception.
perception was 9.
9.
Yep. Oh, man. Perception going to be 15. Or, yeah, 15.
Perception is 20.
Then,
26 for Kaleo.
Okay, then Kaleo, you will find that a scrapyard is basically rubble, like all the way across. Most of it looks to be connected or well. And the turrets, they're quite large, larger than battle cannons. Definitely. And you do spot several entrances to what could be tunnels.
Imagine on the HUD, I have a way of marking those.
Mhm.
For
Definitely.
everybody else to see. Yep. So as he's setting the charges, something he's marking them for the rest of the group on the HUD. So they're seeing what he's seeing and aware of what's going on. Do I have enough charges to take down all of the turrets, or at least?
There's around 3 large turrets, which are probably not suitable to track airplanes. And there's several flak turrets, which you can definitely disable on one wind direction, like northeast, south, or west.
All right. Gonna blow this as best you can. And rejoin group.
Perhaps we can use turrets against orcs. I always like big boom.
I like big boom too.
I say we do
That's why
2
I
big
love
booms. There are 3 turrets, there are 5 of us.
Yeah, as you sneak along the scrapyard, by the way, you do spot several orc patrols, mostly in clubs of between 10 and 20 orcs, often different sizes. All of them are led by the biggest orc in the bunch. Even if they're only 5 centimeters higher, that could be enough to lead it back.
Have any of them noticed us?
No, I'm assuming that Kaleo is stealthing ahead to place the charges, and she rolled plenty high to avoid being spotted. And one thing you also notice once you get up close, most of these orcs do have mechanical weapons or some body part replacements, implants, some.
Well, this is annoyingly advanced. Given the construction of the camp, do we know, or do we have a reasonable idea of where the boss might be at this point in time, or is it
Probably
kind of hidden
inside.
from us? Okay.
There's one larger mound where one larger tunnel also seems to go, almost a hangar-size tunnel entrance.
Oh. Captain, please let me use one of the turrets to blast the hell out of that mound. Please. It would be perfect knock on door.
Would indeed. But I say we secure it with the assistance of our illustrious librarian. You said you could shield us from their sight?
Yes, for a while.
Then do so now.
And he'll come close. We cannot talk. We can only walk. And
Then
he'll
perhaps-
start a prayer of protection.
Before you do this, Captain, maybe you should tell us what we are doing.
You want to find yourself a turret? Go get yourself a turret. And then
We need to stick
We had
close
to-
together, though.
then we go with him. Head to the biggest mound. Orcs, though they may be more cunning, still rely on a base system of logic. Whatever's biggest is strongest.
Oh, yeah.
So we go to the biggest mound, find the biggest orc, see if we can't either convince them to take us to the war boss, or
Convinced?
if luck
of?
would be it may involve the removal of some limbs, but could be worse.
Okay.
Or we kill the war boss ourselves and take the artifact.
That is sound plan.
Kellio,
Yeah,
the charges in place.
they are. I am on my way back to you.
As soon as he's back, we march.
Captain.
Start your prayers, Prometheus.
I think he is in there. Akruba's right. I sent something there.
Good.
Then he'll start prayers of protection. Individual ones, shield their minds against the warp, etc. Until Kalio's back. Then he'll...
Cleo is reciting his own prayers to set off the charges.
What I will do, there will be a bubble around us. One that obscures us, and mostly obscures them as well. Stay inside it, they won't see us. It will be around me. And he'll start speaking some gibberish you do not understand. And the light at the end of in his force stuff, it almost starts to glow, and there's a light bubble around you. But the edge of the bubble is almost like a veil that hides the world from your vision as well. We can go, and he'll walk towards the hangar.
Oh, hang on. I thought we would go into a turret first, so I could get.
Oh,
Yeah,
turret.
on
You
the
wanted to
way.
go to a turret.
Yeah, on the way. Like, I basically figure that one of the turrets is on the way there, so let's
Yeah,
get Akrubo his big gun, and then we'll head to the hangar.
Cleo's kind of watching Narcissus to see how he's reacting to what the librarian has done. It's probably kind of switched over to a private channel going, don't worry, you never get used to it. You'll be all right.
This is disconcerting.
At best.
My friend, if this is the only disconcerting thing about this venture, I will be supremely thankful.
Hush, whispers. And the librarian leads you to the first big turret and up to the door. Suddenly, out of the veil, a door comes into the bubble.
He grabs the door, he turns big, massive, toothy grin, and go, and he'll go, "Oh, I'll knock the door then for you." And he heads through out of the bubble into the turret.
Prometheus will follow you with the rest. As you step into the turret, you surprise a small orc.
I crush his tiny little head.
All right. You can roll me an attack roll.
I just. So what am I rolling?
Just an attack roll. It's unarmed, so that's close combat
I have no idea what my
or
close combat.
fighting.
Fighting.
Do you have fighting?
Fighting.
Nope. What is
Which
in
is
skill? Oh, yes,
know,
I do.
so-
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's an ability as well.
So I think it's 3.
Yeah.
22.
22. How do you kill this small orc?
So I come out, I see the small orc, and my arm just instinctively just grabs his skull and crushes it very quickly. And it almost like he didn't even see him. It's like so nonchalant. This little gnat is in his way. He's not worthy of his time. He just and tosses it to one side.
And then you step into the base of the turret. There's big shells lying all over the floor, like unorganized. The orc was sitting on one of the shells. And there's some levers above you, close to the barrels. And there's walkways there.
Why did
I'm
I
going to
waste
check.
charges?
Sorry?
So why did Kaleo waste charges?
We were ordered
We
to,
have
that's why.
We're going to be blowing it up after we use it.
Yeah.
No, just have faith.
A crew is going to check if it's loaded, see if there's a shell in there, and if there isn't, he's going to load it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to. I'm assuming it's not particularly difficult to work out how this system works. You know, maybe a lever or two will. So we go, okay, that goes
There's
that
around
way, that goes
20
that way.
levers.
Oh, bloody hell.
And
It's probably
some
be easy to just
things
get
you can
out
turn.
and push.
And there's wires running into the cannon. You don't know why, but there is.
It just works. It just works.
It just works.
Yes.
Okay,
It's an
a
orc.
crew who's just going to be pulling and trying to work out how it all works to get the thing pointed at this mound.
Yeah, redundant. How much do you believe this thing will turn if you turn a lever?
I mean, it's he believes that there's got to be some sort of mechanism. If even the orcs aren't stupid enough to do a turret that just faces one direction, you know, in a specific order. So,
Surprise!
you know, considering these are supposed to be technologically advanced for orcs, I would imagine they could turn left and right. If not, he's going to get out and push the turret himself.
I will turn this turret around.
Yeah. So there's
Literally.
There's this lever that you think will turn it,
Right.
and as you pull it, the cannon fires.
Well, that did not go well. I reload. And then go outside.
Wrong.
We do not have long now. We do not have long now. They will come. Go.
Immediately, I'm on comms with the ship. What was the pilot's name again?
Siri?
Syphon-
Civilis?
Cephalus.
Syphilis. Gonna immediately get on comms. Syphilis, the idea and blow the entrance to this place to hell. Kaleo, ready the charges. And Zachariel is going to immediately scamper as quickly as possible with Prometheus following along away from the turret.
Yeah. So, redundant. I'll allow you to manually try to turn the turret.
He's going to manually turn the turret towards the giant mound.
Yeah, you can give me a strength or an athletics if you have athletics.
I think I have athletics. I do, which is better than my strength. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, because it's a skill. It's modified by your strength. So.
Oh, come on. Okay, can I use... Do I want to do extra effort?
I will allow you to try again in a moment, though.
Okay, I'll try again.
It will just take time. So, in the time it takes for Akruba to get a better angle, what does the rest do?
I'm wondering why the hell he's still at the turret.
Yeah, because Kaleo's waiting to fire the melt. Figures if he fires the melta into the turret, it's all going to go up anyways, as well as the other charges that he said. So he's like, Akrubo, get out of the turrets. We can blow it up, please.
Yeah. By the way, once inside, Prometheus dropped the veil as you were out of line of sight. So he's just waiting for you to give a command and gather it again.
Akrubo, you have exactly 1 minute.
That is all I need.
All right, you can roll me again.
Come on. That's better.
There it is.
That's better.
22.
You managed to turn the turret. Where do you aim it?
I aim it right at the big mound, right at the fucking entrance to blow the shit out of it.
All right. So how badly do you believe this cannon will fire? I mean, that's how Orc technology works, by the way.
In that, he's just basically going to head inside. He's already loaded a shell, and he's going to pull every fucking lever there is. You know, he's really going for it. He's convinced now that every lever in this thing fires. That's all they're there for.
Yeah, you start pulling levers, and the cannon, it fires. And the shell, it goes straight into this hangar-shaped tunnel, and it hits an enormous door, and the door breaks down.
Shit, there was a door in there.
It's at least 30 meters into the tunnel, so...
Akrubu's going to reload. He's getting another shell.
30 seconds.
One more, just one more, I promise. Just one.
I will let you fire it. It's perfect. We'll have you fire another shell into the hangar doors. The doors are gone, and it goes into what might be a hangar if you set foot in there. And it sets off fires, other explosions, and there's smoke coming out of the tunnel now. And there's a lot of shouting in Orcish. Does any of you speak Orcish?
I don't think so, because I don't have any languages, I don't think.
I do.
Captain, it's a fire, fire enemies. Get down to it, and there's a lot of shouting and insulting as well. Basically, all the patrols that were roaming around are now starting to scan the area. There's 2 patrols heading towards the cannon that fired. So this is your moment to put on some better music.
Cleo is staring at the captain with his thumb on the figurative button, waiting to push it.
Oh, Akrubu's ran out by now. After that final blast, he's ran out.
Mm-hmm.
He's got blood in his eyes now. He's ready to fight.
And as soon as you run out, then Prometheus will stop you with a hand on the shoulder and shall we gather and move on?
I was figuring we could stay here for another moment longer, but sure, why don't we? Zachariel is getting his bolter ready and ordering the librarian to put up the warp field again. He turns to Cleo. Soon as we depart from this place, blow the charges.
Big boom. Got it.
Prometheus, he puts up the shield quickly, and the smoke disappears. The turret right behind you disappears as soon as you start walking, and you're like walking on this small island of scraps and metal. And as you walk, you notice it's almost a metallic floor rather than a dirt floor. And he moves towards the large hallway and into the large hallway, and stops for a moment, closes his eyes, and to the left here. And he'll go to the left, and inside a smaller hallway, like a ship's corridor even, he drops the obfuscation zone, so to say, the stealth zone. And you're standing with your back towards the hangar where several bombas are burning. and explosions going off. Some orcs are running around with buckets of water trying to put it out. Prometheus will say, I've got a feeling he's underneath this hangar.
Good. Callio, draw their attentions away in that very classic way.
Oh, indeed.
You hear several explosions going off outside the hangar as more panic ensures. Well, not panic, more activity starts to happen. And you also hear the faint gunfire of the twin-linked assault cannons underneath your Black Star, who starts to make strafing runs on the side where you placed the explosives on the flak cannons. And there's a hallway in front of you, ending in a stairway going down.
Would you like me to take point on this?
Lead the way.
Melta is primed and leading forward.
Narcissus, stay near the librarian. Akrubo, with me.
This hallway is plenty large for two of you to walk side by side, as it's probably built for orcs. And same with the stairs, it's big, crude, uneven steps going down. And they end in a door, which it does have a hatch, providing vision on the other side. There's some side rooms abandoned, mostly scraps in there, like pieces of metal, just laying on the floor.
I'd like to go ahead and just kind of kick the door open, and then
All right.
fire the Melta as soon as the doors are open.
All right. As you kick the door open, you look into what looks like a large, almost the same size as the hangar workshop. There's weird machinery all around. There's what looks to be like a killer cam in construction in one of the stations. If you've ever fought a killer can, it's like basically a metal soda can, but with a 2-meter diameter and full of made of armor with big saw blades sticking out of it, guns. Really weird. It's looks like under construction. There's orcs working on it. Other stations have other things that are being built. There's some buggies being built. There's even a plane in the middle of the room that is being constructed. And there's one workstation with a huge orc covered in mechanical parts. One of his, you only see his back, and one of his arms is definitely an enormous claw, and the other one is an empty arm at the moment. He's around 60 meters from you, and as you kick in the door, he puts onto that arm some sort of another claw-shaped device. It's a big exoskeletal arm, and you can't really see what's attached to it from this angle.
It would appear we have a target-rich environment.
What do you fire at? That's I think your weapon is 50 feet line, so that will be 30 meter.
30 meters. Let's. How far is the? Can I get all of the orcs on the kill can first? Because I know Akrubo really wants that war boss, and I can let the wolf.
Yes. Yes, you can definitely torch that station.
Okay, that's where I'll start.
Yeah, you don't have to roll anything for that because it's an area effect.
It's a DC 20.
DC 20 for me, you mean? Yeah, DC 20 to dodge. There's around 6 mech boys working on it. They're quite large, larger than the orcs outside, and they're like a tech marine. as in some of them have mechanical extra arms, helping them. Some have arm replacements, leg replacements, and most of them wear goggles, all in different colors. Batteries stuck to the back, some of them. And I will roll several. Oh, I can do that easier. 4 more. There's 5 you hit there. And 3 of them, they just go up in the melt of flames instantly. And 2 more, they manage to scurry. They hide behind the killer can. One only has his feet on fire and starts screaming. And I think that's a good time to roll initiative.
Fair.
So I will roll Prometheus, who has a really bad roll. He has 10. Cat, you have
39.
39. Okay, I think you'll get
I'm a rogue, y'all.
I think you're going first. But 22 for me.
All right, so Jason, 22. What else?
18.
And that's Pope. 18.
And
You're done?
Brew was 22 as well.
Okay. Also 22, and then I will roll for the Mech Boys. Oh. The Mech Boys, they have 5. And then the I have 2 larger mechs, Mech Boys, which are knobs in my list. They go on a 24. Mech Dogs is actually the correct name, I think, for orcs. It's weird for orcs. And then the war boss himself, he goes on an 18. All right, so we have a long list. So basically the knobs, they are individual units. The Mech Boys, they are extras. So if you hit them, they go down. And there's alive around 30 in the room still. They are more cinematic in how they contribute to the battle. And the war boss is the war boss, and he'll go on his own turn. If you kill the rest first, I might go alternating initiative. We'll see how it goes. Might be dead before that. Can I sort this list? Probably. Sword range. Column B. Sword. No. Oh yeah, there we go. Kat, you go first.
I think just gonna. Cleo at this point is just moving around and lining them up as best he can. As soon as he gets a good number of them in the line, then he just fires.
All right.
Making sure that the kill can gets a little bit of it. And...
Yeah, the kill can, it was halfway under construction, so well, maybe if enough believed it would work, it would still work though. So you never know with orcs.
Yeah.
You managed to, there's 2 there alive, so...
If you can get a couple more in line with them, in the line of fire.
You catch one of them that started running across, and all 3 that you get in the line, they go down.
Okay.
So that is a score of 8 kills for you. Total.
I'm almost a Kifkin.
Oh, yeah. Well, but Tom doesn't know the reference, so... No, basically, Kifkin, he played the accountant, and he got the most kills. So it's...
Streak is still unbroken as far as I understand, but
yeah,
that's another story.
Kill count's 21.
Yeah. All right, so the next up is the Mech Dogs, the knobs. Initially they run off to get their weaponry. So they run up to one of them runs up to this giant cabinet, pulls it open. It's full of weird weapons, and pulls out one. And the other one, he runs over to a station and grabs a wrench with three hinges on it. And that's their turn. Next up, Jason.
Once I'd immediately grab the weapons, I'm going to sort of take aim and fire at those two with my bolter.
Does the bolter have multi-attack, by the way?
I am not sure. It's got damage, piercing. Nope.
Then you can shoot at one of the two dogs.
The one that took that, the first one, not the one that wields the wrench, because that's a Krubo's work.
The one that took the weird-looking gun.
Yes. Hello. Okay. That was not in the window, but this one is. Last point of luck. Gonna just burn that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's an 18 plus...
An 18 will hit.
Plus 6, so 24.
That will hit.
Awesome. Okay, so that is a bolter, damage 6, piercing with penetration 3.
Okay, so he will. He doesn't have impervious toughness, so it will do damage to him, and he rolls toughness against damage 6. And I will just quickly go down to there's the to the chart, because that's way quicker once I have it for the rest of the rolls. Damage 6, and he rolls an 11 for a total of 17, meaning he gets a -1 on all his future toughness saves. So basically for you, Tom, if you hit, the enemy rolls toughness against damage, and there's a chart in the rulebook. Basically, it's damage plus 15, and if you make the save, you take no damage, and every 5 you get under it, you get worse damage. So that's the short of it. And he was within the first 5 below, meaning he only takes a -1 on all his future saves. Next up.
As a sort of secondary thing, I'm going to shout to a Krubo, I really hope I don't have to tell you who to hit. And just sort of point to the big guy with the weird new hand.
Yeah. All right. So, Tom, it's you next.
Okay, quick question. Is the big guy with the weird hand within 60 feet?
60 feet? No.
Okay.
But you can reach him. Basically, it's cinematic distance. You work in range bands. He's at medium range. You have short, medium, long, and far. And far basically means you take a long time to get there.
I want to get to the point where he is in 60 feet, give or take, and a Krubu will go down on one knee and pray to the All-Father.
Okay.
Everyone within 60 feet will have to make a save, a fortitude save, DC 16.
Okay.
Otherwise, they lose agility equal to the difference between the check result and the DC.
Okay. And does that exclude Space Marines? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
If you go to the middle of the room and kneel underneath the plane, the bomba that's there, you can hit everybody in the room.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hit every motherfucker in this room.
Alright. So I am gonna. How many orcs did this mech boys did I say there were? 30, right?
A lot.
30. Yeah. So there's 22 there. I'm just gonna roll a d20, see how many fail their save. So the mech boys, only 3 of them get really hurt by you. Those are extra, so they're not really a threat. But it's three mech, and they just go down. Basically, it's three which were using heretical leg replacements, and the leg they stopped working, so they're rooted in place. They're out of the fight. So that's a score of 3 there for you. The 2 mech dogs, I will roll them separate. What's the DC? Do you know?
It's 16.
16. One of them makes it. The other, and it's -1 per point that I failed, right?
That's right. Yeah. To a maximum of -6.
To a maximum of -6. Okay.
Yeah. To agility.
So one of them makes the save, and the other one, he gets a -2. So that's Mad Dog 1. He gets -2 agility, meaning he's easier to hit, and that's the one with the wrench. Well, what could be a wrench in another world. Okay, that concludes your turn.
Apart from the big dude, you haven't the main.
Oh yeah,
guy.
Of course,
yeah.
the big dude.
The one that I really want to fail big time.
He rolls a 7, but he gets a 23.
Okay. So as a Krubu, the way he does is he kneels on one thing. He takes his helmet, and with his fangs, he bites into his lip, and the blood pours from it, and he wipes it. And as he's praying, he puts the blood across his face and says a prayer. And as he stands up, the helmet is replaced, and he gets ready to attack.
All right. Cool. All right. Next on the list, Pope.
Seeing a Krubo just rush up, kneel, mutter prayers in Fenrisian, and just Narcissus is confused. Deeply, deeply confused. Somewhat troubled by this blood magic. But just pull bolt pistol, and seeing the guy with the not wrench wobbly, fires.
All right.
And that will be an 18.
That will be an 18. That's against
the guy with the not wrench.
The not wrench. Oh yeah, the one that's with reduced agility.
Yes.
That will hit.
All right, and that's the bolt pistol, which is let's see. That is damage 4, penetrating 2.
Okay. He will roll a toughness against it. That's a 22 against damage 4, meaning no effects. So you hit the orc, and it hits his shoulder, and he's like, "Ugh," and pulls out the bullet, throws it on the floor.
Narcissus,
Well, it's a rocket bullet, right?
A milk run. This is a milk run for us.
Okay.
So that puts us down to the war boss, who is actually at the same initiative, but I just sorted it and I'm keeping it that way. So, but if you Jason and Tom, you can coordinate actions because you're on the same initiative to work with teamwork in case you want to try that. The war boss, he now turns around, and what you see on his right arm is a large mechanical arm, which ends up in a sort of frame, and inside the frame, it's holding a relatively small gauntlet, slightly larger than a gauntlet you would wear, and the gauntlet is being held by what looks like metals. Like there's a metallic hand inside it, and it's put in there, and at the end of this exoskeleton, there's some sort of nozzles with which almost look like Tesla cores, and he points he sees the one Space Marine in the middle of the room. He points the arm at you, and you see the gauntlet inside. You see it like with the finger. You see it do that, and a wave of. It's almost as if you see the air move, like a force comes towards you, and he tries to hit you for a 22 against your dodge or parry. Plus 10.
My dodge and parry are 14. So,
okay, so your dodge and parry is the dodge total 14?
Yes, completely.
Okay. So that will hit you. Then you can roll me a fortitude save.
Oh, fortitude? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So fortitude is...
To not get flung out of the onto the next wall.
Oh.
Okay. Fortitude is 6, from what I can see.
Okay.
Yes.
For me. So... so that's 19?
A 19. With a 19, you plant your feet down as a wave of kinetic force rushes over you, and it pushes you back 30 meters. But you manage to slide to a halt before you hit the wall, taking no damage. But you're now again at medium range.
Okay.
That concludes the war boss's turn. Going down to Prometheus. Prometheus, who is only now just walking up, he sees the war boss, and he says, "That's the artifact, and time to clean up." And he'll go off onto the left wall, walking into the several of the workstations where mech boys are working, and he takes one big swipe with his staff, and lightning crackles from his staff, hitting all of the mech boys that are in there. And in this one, there's around 6 working, and they have to make a reflex save to not die. 3 of them make it, 3 of them die instantly. Cut in half by lightning. Next up, the mech boys themselves. The 3 of them that managed to dodge the lightning coming out of Prometheus' staff. They tried to jump him, and 2 of them hit him, but Prometheus' armor, basically they jump him, they batter him, but they don't manage to penetrate the power armor. The mech boys on the other side of the room, there were a couple alive. Some of them start to run across the room towards the Space Marine holding the multi-melta. And others are out of sight for now. You see one climbing into the bomba that is standing in the middle of the room. And that brings us back to the top, if I'm correct.
All right. Kaleo, seeing the one going into the bomba, is going to aim for the bomba.
All right.
Delta. So the bomba needs to make a DC 20.
The bomba needs to try to survive. You managed to penetrate the skin of this machine that looks like it will never fly, but you've seen things like this fly.
Oh, yeah.
And it does start a fire, but it does not explode. You do hear a scream, though, from the inside.
Okay, that's a start. That's a start. I really wish I had hand grenades right now.
All right.
So he's
do
gonna.
Do you move?
Yes, he's going to angle. So, knowing the war boss, he does not want the war boss to get behind him. So he's just going to move where he's keeping the bomba, so that he can target it if he needs to, but also where he can at least track where the war boss is out of the corner of his eye.
Okay. Yeah, that moves us down to the mech dogs. And the one with the wrench, he will go towards Prometheus and try to hit him with the wrench, because Prometheus is the closest. He does hit him, and Prometheus will have to make a perfect toughness save, so he doesn't take any damage. Again, he's a tough guy. You hear a loud clang as the ancient power armor absorbs the hit, and the mech dog, he is one head taller than the already tall Prometheus. The other one with the zappy gun, Pope. He's gonna shoot at you. As he pulls the trigger, there's like orbs that start spinning around the barrel, electricity crackling from it, and he tries to hit you with an 18. Does that hit?
That hits.
Yes. Then you can roll me against effect 6 damage.
Okay. I'm going to use my 1 hero point to reroll that.
All right.
Much better. That's 27.
At 27. At 27 will allow you to easily absorb the power of this beam of lightning / energy. It's almost a less cannon, but it's more electricity than less cannon. You're not sure what it is. That takes us down to Jason and Tom.
Okay, now, quick question about hero points. They can change the scene in some form or fashion, right?
Definitely.
I want to spend my hero point to make it to where the orc with that power gauntlet, whatever like machinery it's using, is not that strong. Like when he did the Thanos snap and the force went out, it blew away some of the machinery, making it easier to like remove the gauntlet.
Okay, I will allow it, but it's not so much not that strong. It looks like it's not finished.
Right. Yeah. We caught him with this
enclosure. The enclosure around it. It's more like a wireframe rather than an actual tube, so to say.
Okay. So Zachariel is going to look at the one with the shock attack gun and once again hit it, but he's going to be going closer to Akrubo as his movement, and expending extra effort if he has to help Akrubo identify the weaknesses in the apparatus.
Okay.
So first attack towards the one with the shock attack gun. Yep. That's good. 16 plus plus something. Plus 6, so 24.
24, that hits.
Damage 6 with piercing and pen 3.
Okay. He will get a -1. So that's this one.
And he already got a -1 from the...
Yeah, that's why he failed. Otherwise, he would have made it. He's looking wounded. A good hit might take him down. That's the one fighting Prometheus. No, not the one. No, the one that shot Narcissus.
Yeah,
that's the one.
So I'll go ahead and just spend that extra effort, and instead of helping Akrubo, basically say, "Remember, artifact retrieval primary. Secondary is the death of the war boss," and let loose another volley against the shock attack gun.
Okay.
16.
It will hit.
Okay.
So again, a toughness roll. Oh, he was bad.
And that's -2, right?
Yeah, well, that's -2 beyond what he had. So he ends up at an 8, and you had effect 6, and an 8 versus that means that he gets a -2, and he's now staggered. The way we Yeah, -2. He adds -2 to his already -4, and he is now staggered. Staggered means that he can only make one action per turn, and he's half movement.
Phew.
So he can either move or attack, and he's half movement. All right. And if he gets staggered again, he's dead. Now, Tom, Akrubo.
So, if Akrubo goes full pelt, can he get to melee with this war boss?
Yes. Basically, you can use your normal movement to cross one range band, and you can make a charge attack to make an attack with -2 penalty on your normal action.
I will do whatever it takes to get into its face.
Okay.
So, Akrubo is going to tap his thunder hammer on the ground, so it sparks up some lightning, and he just starts charging with a streak of lightning just coming from behind him, and he's just gonna just smash it as hard as he can on the skull of this fucking orc.
All right.
So,
hit me with an X.
So I think it's a +3 to hit. It's not great. So it'd be +1 because I'm taking a -2, right?
Yeah. He's not hard to hit. So
well, let's hope 14.
That's enough.
14? Oh,
that
yay!
is enough to hit.
Okay. So that will be 6. Oh, sorry, plus strength. 3, so 9 force damage with a penetration of 4.
All right. So the 9 force damage is enough to go through his armor, and he'll have to make a toughness save, which he rolls an 8. And let me just check his stats. Ending up at an 18. He is a tough motherfucker. But that does give him a -2 and dazed.
Ooh, yes.
And actually the Mad Dog gets a -3 because that's a bookkeeping thing for me with the house rules. So the war boss, he now takes a -2 and he's dazed, meaning that on his next action, on his next turn, he can only take one action.
Sweet.
For that turn, and then the dazed fades. If he gets dazed again, he goes staggered. So if you hit him before his next turn, he will also start going down fast. All right, that's a nice hit. You could now you have the option to follow it up with an extra effort.
Fuck it, go it. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I'm feral. Let's do this. I'm going with an extra effort, but this time, I'm going in for the bite. I want to bite at least one orc. This thing, I'm going in with the bite.
All right. Yeah, sure.
However that works.
I don't mind using the same stats as your.
That's
power
fine.
weapon.
I mean, it'd just be flavor that I bite instead of smash it with the hammer. Yeah. Do I still take a -2, or do I have the +3?
Nope. So you have the full +3.
Oh,
That's
okay.
10.
Can I do anything to re-roll it? I'm gonna re-roll. I've got an X. I've got that hero point, so I'm re-rolling.
Yes.
Come on. Oh, come on!
Well, the thing is, with a hero point, if you roll below 10, you add 10 to the roll.
Oh,
so you have
10,
a 14
so
+3, making it 17. That will
17.
hit. So he will now have to resist again.
Yep.
And with the extra penalty, he gets another -2 dazed, meaning he goes to -4, and he's now staggered. And the stagger does not fade. So
I like
that's
I like to think that I
go
hit the Warhammer and it takes a bit of flesh. And I just rip it out.
Yeah. Pharaoh in there, going Pharaoh on his ass. He actually looks well. He's big. He's brutish. He looks angrier than before, even at this whelp that's in his eyes that just managed to hurt him. Actually, he's bleeding as well. Let's go down to the next one. That is Pope.
Seeing Akrubo just going nuts at the war boss and this massive beast of an orc bleeding, just moves forward with bolt pistol in hand, just trying to line up a decent shot and see if he can't bring this thing to a knee. So let's see if the Emperor's with me. Crit.
Yes.
So
The Emperor
that's
is with us today.
that is a crit with a damage 4 pen.
Yeah.
2.
With the crit, you can do multiple things. You can add 5 to the effect. At this point, it's unless I roll below 6 or 7, I'm unlikely to die on the hit. But you can also add extra effect, which you could use to try to disarm him.
Yeah, let's say that it just somehow punctures that cage, and the bolt round goes off and launches the gauntlet out of the cage.
He will. I will allow him to roll strength against it. Try to grab it. And if he fails, I'm gonna say if I roll below 11, like 10 or lower, you manage to get it out. So it's a 50-50. You don't, but he will still have to roll toughness against your damage, which is the damages then.
Damage is 4.
Damage is 4. I could still roll epically low though. So a 4 at a with that's plus 6, giving him 11. An 11 versus damage 4 gives him another -2 and another dazed, meaning he's really on the verge of dying now. And he's
Extra effort.
The effect of the day is pretty much because he's grabbing, trying to prevent the gauntlet from breaking down. He's spending so much time on that he cannot make a proper action on his next turn.
All right, but extra effort. You see weakness, especially as the apothecary smited. So let's try one more time. That will be a total of 16.
That's a hit.
Yes. So 4 damage.
I have to. It's the reverse, right? 4 damage. This time he only has a +4 bonus, making him 12, giving him another daze, making him staggered again. And because he has staggered, that means he'll go down. How does your round achieve this?
Again, he held on to the gauntlet. He pulled up. I figure, as he's pulling up, like Krubo's hanging on the one arm as he's bit the opposite arm, and is just there with Power Claw, like hanging on, and he's trying to wrench up to keep everything, and leaves his entire like face exposed, and it's just right into that ugly mug, just showering green skin gore all over a Krubo.
All right, cool. The Warbolts goes down, and as the Warbolts goes down, the rest of the orcs, they for a moment they stand still, look at the boss, and the two mad dogs, they look at each other and point to themselves. I'm boss now, and basically giving you a moment to act after to take advantage of the situation. But first, it's Prometheus' turn. And Prometheus, he's facing one of those orcs that was standing in front of him. And what he'll do is, now that this orc is looking at the other orc, he'll just punch his staff through the chest of the orc and channel force lightning through it, trying to kill him. He does hit. And the orc does roll very low in his toughness, basically meaning that this orc it goes 6-7 ways with lightning flashing through where the cracks. Next up, the mech boys. They basically start to panic and they start pulling things. Stuff starts to explode. The plane in the middle is starting to burn. There's some light explosions in other rooms also happening now that orcs are doing stuff there. And let's see. We have Narcissus who's close to the entrance, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And Kaleo was also close to the entrance, right?
Kaleo had moved in because he had taken out the kill can and the
Okay.
in the middle.
And where was the captain? Jason, where was the captain also close to the entrance?
No, I moved right next to Akruba before he left to get into combat. So as soon as he sees the gauntlet that's jettisoned off from the arm, immediately you see the captain just run towards it.
You can do that on your turn.
Yeah.
Then only Kaleo and Narcissus, you can roll me a dodge. For some reason, one of those shells from the similar to the ones in the cannons, just rolls across the floor towards one of each of you, and explodes. Okay, Kifkin, you will have to roll me against a damage 8.
Okay.
And Cleric, dodge. You can roll me against damage 4.
On the damage 8, got 28.
28. That's enough to completely absorb the shock.
Cleric, if you're talking, I kind of hear you.
Yeah, sorry. So this is a dodge defense?
Yeah, a dodge against area.
Okay. Okay, so 9 plus 14, 23?
23. That also gives you half. Wait, the first one was a dodge, right? The 3, roll of 3. Or am I looking at... Oh no, that's Kefkin, sorry. What am I looking at? Okay, so yeah, you also roll toughness against damage 4.
Okay. $16?
16. 16 against damage 4 gives you a -1 penalty on toughness, which you'll regenerate in 2 rounds. Because you're a salamander. All right. So that was the mech boys. And as they end their turn, you also... everyone can roll me a perception.
20.
A 20.
22.
I'm gonna burn a luck to re-roll that. It's much better. 24.
A 24.
23.
Okay. All of you, who had the highest?
Brother Calio, I believe.
Yeah.
Kalia.
Yeah,
Okay.
24.
Yeah. All of you feel a deep rumble, like an engine being started, but more like an enormous engine being started. You can feel the ground shake, and now that you feel that, it feels like it's a floor, like a deck on a ship, maybe. And that's when we go back to the top. Cat.
I can feel this coming from beneath me.
Yes. And the walls are also starting to shake.
I would like to... Can I just aim the melted down at the floor?
Yes, you can. You can burn a hole in the floor easily.
Yeah, I think I'd like to just kind of like cut a nice, flap or circle or hole in the floor.
As you do that, like a circle of the floor. It's like 5 centimeters thick metal, rusted, falls down onto another floor, and there's stuff. It's a hallway running across, and there's pipes running across the walls. And one of the pipes is also now being pierced by the melta that's dripping across it. And there's a spray of gas coming out of it.
Captain, you feel that correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
Shall I continue shooting down till we find whatever's firing this thing?
You see Zachariel actually kind of like trying to turn several gears in his head. Continue to try and disable whatever it is we're standing on. But we can't tarry here.
Understood. Brother Krupa, spit that out. You don't know where it's been.
All right, so
I think Cleo is going to
your
jump down.
movement, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to jump down through that hole, and so he can keep firing down.
All right. Okay. Next up are the two mech dogs. One of them who is in pieces on the floor. The other one, he's holding the zap gun. He sees the two of you, and in Orcish he shouts, "I am boss now! Kill them!" And he will. The closest one is Akrubo and the captain. He will try to kill Akrubo, the one he perceives as the one that killed his boss. Because, well, you cannot kill a boss with a ranged weapon. You have to be tough, and he'll come up close, and he'll actually try to hit you with the zap gun he had. 18. Does that hit?
Yeah, 14.
All right.
Minus.
Then you can roll me a DC 18 Fortitude save.
Fortitude. Okay.
To not get stunned by the electricity of his weapon.
Oh no! Oh dear, no! I am stunned. I'm so very stunned.
That's a 7. A 7 against 18 means you're under by 3 degrees. Means you're actually paralyzed. You cannot. You can actually not do anything until you will yourself out of it, which you can try on your own action, or someone actually helps you by removing the condition. So what you see is basically the orc. He hit Brother Akrubo. It's perfect. That's that one, by the way. He hits you. There's electricity jolting through his power armor, and the power armor is no longer powered. It turned down the generator, and it's frozen. So you can move it inch by inch, but all the hinges are like, yeah. So that's the MacDoc. Jason.
Narcissus, get Akrubo back online, and I will just send a hail of bolters down that fucking shock attack bastard's throat. Yeah, 18 plus 6, 24. I think that
20.
hits.
Yep.
Yep.
24 hits him.
Damage 6, piercing, penetration 3.
He will roll. He is already on a -2, if I'm correct. No, this is the one with the zap gun. He's at a -5 and staggered.
Yeah.
So he only has a +1 on his roll, giving him an 18.
Okay.
Against your damage 6, you said?
Yes.
Giving him another -1.
Mother.
He is.
If I spend
he is looking really bad. Yeah, go ahead.
If I spend another effort, that means I'm fatigued, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fatigue means you move at half speed.
No, I don't want that. I'm gonna go ahead and move toward the gauntlet and try and scoop it up, or otherwise just secure it on my person.
The claw, you mean?
Yes. Whatever was holding the ancient artifact of power that we've been needing to get.
Yeah, you can use the extra effort to grab the gauntlet. It's not hard to pull it out of the wireframe.
I'll just be by the wireframe then. I won't use the extra effort. I'll just move.
I will give you a hero point if you do, though, because we should take this.
Yeah, I got to. All right. Immediately steal it and shove it into whatever compartment of my power armor there is. And yeah, get ready.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I'm assuming you took at least a bag with you to take it with you, so that you could probably
some sort of canister. Yeah.
It would be stupid to do an item retrieval without
Yeah.
All right.
I imagine there's like a specialized canister on my back that I just shove it into.
It means you'll be slower, but yes, you can. But you also have a hero point again, which is great. Tom, though.
How? I have a question.
Yes.
Now, essentially, this is like stun. So if I make a will save, that means next turn I can actually move, right? So that's basically how this fortitude. Sorry, it means I can move next turn, right? Instead of being stunned. That's pretty much the premise of it.
Yeah, you can use this your turn to try to get out of the stun, and the cooler you make it.
Okay. If I use a hero point, will you allow me, just due to sheer feral rage and strength, that a Krugel moves the armor and crushes the head of the orc that's right next? Just pure adrenaline and fury for him to move the unpowered armor and just by himself.
Did you have a hero point left?
Did I already spend one?
Yeah, on your reroll, which was essential.
Oh, you're right. Okay, ignore that then.
Yeah.
I will.
To not get crushed into the wall.
That's it. Yes, I will ignore that. And
what you can do, you can make. You can definitely roll me a fortitude.
I'll do that. Okay. I'll roll the fortitude. 6. Sorry, I forgot to take it off the thing. It's 13.
That's 13. What I will allow you to do, because you wrote down something really cool, is to try to shed the power armor. Because it's a good day to die.
Damn straight it's a good day to die.
I will grant you a hero point.
Okay.
For that, if you shed the armor.
How easy is it to put it back on?
Well, if you do this, it's kind of like a complication for the rest of the team. Like, you shed the armor, you got to deal with it, and you got to make sure it's a good day to die. You got to get out of this thing.
I mean, I know it's a good day to die, but he's not dumb. So I don't think he's going to take this power armor that is like, I'm pretty sure it's like the most sacred thing to a space marine, right? The power armor.
It's
like,
very sacred. Yeah.
You know, so he's not going to ditch it, you know. No. So no, he'll just stay in it. Plus, I think he'll survive more in power armor than out.
All right.
Yeah.
What I will allow you is to use your second extra effort to remove the stun. In this case, meaning you will be exhausted until you take a long rest. And exhausted is bad. It's a -2 penalty on all rolls, and you're moving at half speed.
No, I'll just take it. I'll stay stunned.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then we move on. Pope. Brother Narcissus.
Narcissus is going to rush over to a crew boat, listening to the captain's orders, and do you want me, because there's the narrative effect that it's the armor that's shut off, and use technology check to get it back online, or would you like me to use healing?
You can use healing.
Okay. We'll use healing then. All right, so this, whatever I roll, plus 12. Okay, so that's 24. The initial DC for healing the power is 10, and then every 5 on top of that is another degree. So that will be total of 3 points healed. So
that's basically all 3 degrees.
Yeah. So Narcissus just comes over. The Narthicum on the gauntlet on his left arm extends, hits one of the ports of the power armor, and just juices Akrubo, who is already in a feral rage, up with stems and whatever other cocktails are in there, and now he's back online.
Yeah. So you don't feel like you need the power of your power armor at the moment. You can move again. Nice. Cool. Then we go back down to Prometheus, who is now standing over the body of one orc, and the other one is standing next to Akrubo and Sicario, and he's behind the orc. He reaches out his hand and he squeezes and he tries to stun the orc with stun the orc's mind, try to incapacitate him. The orc must make a will save, which he rolls a 2 on as well. I'm sorry, guys. Taking also a full-on stun, making him paralyzed. The orc looks like his eyes just turned inside out in pain. And then we go down to the Mech Boys. The Mech Boys, they are still rolling out explosives. And there's one Akrubo and one captain. And there's one shell just slowly rolling towards you. Make me a dodge save.
All of us?
The 2 of you.
The 2 of us. Okay, cool. I'm no longer stunned, so I can actually move. That's awesome.
Oh.
Good luck for that.
Okay, this is to roll
20.
toughness against half. So
20 for me.
Okay. Then you can roll me a toughness against DC 19 for no effect.
So that's 8.
I rolled a 1 for the dodge.
Yeah, so that means you have to roll against these
come on.
5 higher. So that's
So 13 for the
13.
toughness.
The 13 toughness against 4 means you
I just got online.
Yeah, you take a -2 penalty and you're dazed on your next turn.
Okay.
So you're stunned by the explosion. There's a chip in your armor. You'll have to get that repaired.
9 plus 8, so 17 for my roll.
For your toughness?
Yep.
Toughness 17 against strength 8. That also gives you a -2 and dazed. So the both of you are surprised by the explosion and feel the impact. This hurts. The orc also has to make a toughness save because he's also caught in the radius. I roll at them too, but he's already at a penalty of -6.
Wait, did the orcs just kill their new boss?
Yes.
Of course they did.
He rolls a 4.
They weren't pleased with new management.
4 against damage 8, meaning he basically takes the full blast of the explosion. And body parts flying everywhere.
I imagine with Akrubo, it wasn't even the bomb that got him; it was the body of the orc. It was just like, oh.
The 2 of you are now covered in gore from the exploding orc. That does kind of take us out of initiative, though, because all the prime targets are dead. There's orcs. There's mech boys running around trying to salvage machinery, trying to put out fires by hammering it, and it works. Others are saving their machinery and running out of the room.
So imagine Khalil heard. I imagine Cleo heard Akruba's sound that he made and thought, Narcissus, did you give Akrubo a stem?
Bit busy.
Calio, make us an exit,
Yeah?
please.
Working on it.
You just see Zachariel go towards the hole that Calio made. Librarian, and that damn bubble will be needed again.
Cleo is just cutting holes down.
Are there any orcs still around?
Yes, plenty. There's a
Krubu's gonna go have some fun. He's in full feral, stimmed up mode. He's gonna just wreak havoc on any green, non-human green skin thingy that he can see.
Narcissus,
gonna
drag
burn
Akrubo out by the scruff of the neck if you have to. We leave.
So
Come on, brother Akrubo. I kind of have to follow the captain's orders here.
basically, as you follow and slaughter some of the mech boys, you run into a big pack of orcs that are armed to the teeth in the first hallway. And
Bring it
I
on.
I would say that's a good way to grab a hero point.
Fucking bring
Ignore
it
your
on.
By ignoring your captain's orders.
Have I got... Okay, I'm in the corridor, damn it. I don't have a shell near me that I could just lob at them, do I?
Oh, you can run like 20 feet back and grab
I'll
one
do
of
that.
the shells.
Okay.
Alright.
Shell down the corridor. I'll do that, yeah.
All right. Just roll me anything related, like something interesting.
So what? Athletics? To throw it?
Yeah,
and-
athletics to throw it. Athletics or throwing, whatever you have.
Oh, come on. Let me throw 12.
12. A 12. A 12 will get it to the front row easily of them before it.
And then he gets a pistol.
and it explodes. And this hallway is now covered in orc bits. You take some more in your armor as well. As you do that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And there's more behind
Feeds
it.
the adrenaline.
So, what does the rest of you do while Akrubo is fighting off the orc reinforcements?
Well, I think Kaleo's going to cut down about 3 levels, 3 or 4
Yes.
levels, and then he's going to request that somebody. Actually, he's just going to climb back up, grab a shell, carry it back over, drop it down through the holes that he's cut, and then once it reaches the bottom, then he'll hit fire his melta at the shell.
All right,
And
that will take
while-
me some time. So,
Okay.
in the time, what does the captain do, and what does the apothecary do?
Narcissus is trying to follow the captain's orders and trying to grab hold of Akrubo, like by the power pack of his armor, and just trying with every little bit of might he's got left, just try and drag Akrubo away from the fight and towards the captain.
You'll have to do this under gunfire, as the orcs do start shooting their guns. So I will have Akrubo and Narcissus roll opposed strength.
Okay.
To see how successful.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, no, Akrubo's stronger.
All right.
Yeah.
So initially, it won't. You don't succeed, as Akrubo is in a standoff with the orcs, slaughtering them with you slightly behind it. What does the captain do in the meantime?
Of course, Akrubo's not following orders. The captain expected this, but he is going to see, especially with artifact in hand, see if there's any immediate exit points other than where they just came from. Maybe that Kaleo has made surreptitiously. So he's going to drop down to Kaleo's level and sort of assess the situation, like where they're at.
Well, this hallway runs across. Follow it long enough, and you're bound to find an exit.
This hallway seems to run across the length of whatever it is we're aboard. We should follow it.
And Prometheus
he'll also-
will drop in
yeah.
behind you.
Yeah, he'll actually have said like Prometheus, and as soon as he lands next, it's like, oh, okay.
Do we wait for Krubo and Narcissus?
Just a long sigh. Krubo, exactly 30 seconds, and Zakario is going to march forward.
Krubo
goes,
fresh
that is
air
all
from
I
this hallway,
need.
by the way.
Can I do something? You
You
said I got
let's
30.
see.
I mean, I don't want to, you know.
Yeah,
Don't wanna
the
waste
captain
time.
and Prometheus see Kaleo dropping past them with a shell now. So, yes, you got 30 seconds.
Okay, so we heard he's got 30 seconds. We better make it count. So what he's done, they're all in they're in like a tunnel before me,
Yeah,
right?
they're coming from outside.
He grabs a shell, flings it into the roof, causes a cave in, and then runs the other way.
All right. You can roll me another athletics, because
Okay.
it's thematic with the previous roll. Oh,
Come on. Hero point. I got it.
yeah, you earned it.
I'm in this room. What?
But it's an 11 now, luckily,
That's-
because hero points cannot fill.
Yes, so
The total
11
weight
plus
gain.
7.
I still quit. What are the odds?
1 in 1,000. No, not 1 in 1,000. 1 in 20 times 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Still a lot.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Is it enough to cave it in?
Yes, 18 total now will cave it in.
Sweet.
And
And then when
this will
that
give-
happens, I go to Narcissus. Let us go, brother. And
He's he's slower than you've ever seen him. It looks like he's wounded, hurt.
oh yeah, I'm tired as well.
Yeah. Well, we're both fatigued, and so it's
Oh,
just,
the two of you are going just as
Yeah.
fast.
just we're not exhausted, but we're both fatigued, and just trying to push him in the direction of the captain, and then just like every opportunity as he's running is just hitting his elbow against the back of his armor, just trying to get this bastard out of here.
Okay, so
At this point, Akrubu doesn't even feel it. He's just,
yeah,
Cleo's just drilling holes and dropping shells down them. And
all right. So is everyone sort of assembled in the same general area?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're now all in the pretty much the same hallway, and it does keep going down. By the way, in the time you had Kaleo, there's more hallways, different directions, not straight angles. It's a bit weird.
it's just trying to get closer to the rumbling.
I would like personally to spend the hero point that I got from stealing this very good gauntlet. I'd like there to be just a line, like you know the lines in hospitals that shows us the exit path. Like there's like the orcs got confused, so they just painted a white line just straight to wherever the exit is. And Zakario
I'll
would
take
like to follow that line.
I'll take it. There's you can read Orcish. So what you see is as you drop into this hallway, you see this bright yellow sign above the hall with an arrow and the inscription for exit.
Emperor be praised. Just haul ass.
And on the next intersection, it's also a sign with exit. Prometheus, I feel more orcs.
Marvelous. Hopefully we're faster than them.
I think I have just the veil. I only have it for a minute or so. Then I need to rest.
When we're outside, as soon as we hit fresh air, throw it up and then we'll return as quickly as possible to the ship.
Kaleo,
Yes.
you coming?
Well, Cleo's he's still got a shell. Just one more.
One more. The rest of you, Follow now.
All right. Then you rush down the hallway as Kaleo climbs down into the ship. Kaleo, you do find... I think you're muted, so...
Yep, you muted. Say again.
He's been climbing deeper and deep as he's drilling. He's just drilling straight down, hole after hole after hole, and dropping shell after shell. And so he's still up at the main hangar deck and dropping shells down these however many levels he's cut through already.
All right. Then you can roll me a dodge.
Okay. I'd like to use some luck on that.
All right. You can roll me a luck again. So
I think I'll use the 10.
Yeah, so that's 17 now.
Yep.
So, with your luck, you manage to notice the jet of fire coming down from below just in time to dodge aside, and you still have to roll me against damage 5.
Okay.
As a stream of fire comes up from below.
Okay. Come on, Tom. Come on. You can do this. Okay, it does not like rolling this for me. Oh, there we go. 22.
22 against damage 5. 22 against damage 5 means you take no effect. Okay. You manage to dodge aside, and your armor shields you from the heat. But you do notice the hangar there's more orcs around now, again, coming from other entrances.
One last sweep with the Melta as he's booking it out, and he's on time to go.
The hallway below you is on fire.
Yeah, he's running. If he's got time to run backwards and fire his Melta at some of the orcs, he'll do that. If not, he's out of there and will probably catch up and try to pass everybody.
Okay. You have to go through a burning hallway to get to the rest, because they took the hallway below the hangar.
Okay.
So you can roll me against environmental damage. In this case, just roll me against damage 4.
Okay. I think I have some here. No, I don't. Okay. So toughness, you said?
Yeah, just toughness. Yeah,
that's a 27.
Yeah, you feel the heat of the fire as you move through the stuff you set ablaze, and you were not hindered in any way, correct?
Salamander, volcanist, it's genetic.
The rest of you is slow as fuck, but that's why you easily catch up to them.
And pass them.
And pass them. Oh, sure. Yeah. You do feel the rumbling. It's still going on. There's other noises as well in it. Probably fires raging in below the deck. And you manage to get to the surface of this vessel. As you exit the last hallway, we'll just wrap up in a moment though. As you exit this hallway, you step on the one door opens, and you just stare at the canopy of a forest with the dark sky above it, and there's no floor in front of you.
How far is the drop?
Prometheus activates his magnetic boots and steps onto his side. Onto his side.
Kaleo follows. Yeah, Kaleo follows.
Yeah, Kruger will follow.
As soon as you do that, you notice that you're on the side of whatever it is, and it's about 1 kilometer long. It's littered with cannons. And you see some smoke coming up from above it and behind it, and it's slowly starting to pick up speed.
Immediately, I'm going to hail the pilot and tell him sort of the general area that we are so that he can pick us up midway, like above the cannons.
Okay. Cephalus response. Cephalus here. Requesting pickup. I have your coordinates. You just came out of some shielded area.
Well, fantastic. Jet over here as soon as possible. Immediate evac.
It's gonna be hot though, and you hear some cannons starting to fire, some flak cannons. And after a couple of seconds, you hear the whispering engines of the gunship as it approached your location, and even for you spot it quite late, only when it's 50 meters out. And he turns it, opens the hatch, and you hear in your comms, jump.
I jump.
Good jump.
I want athletics rolls.
What do we?
Please.
Sorry, what do we want?
I want athletics rolls.
Athletics.
A DC 15, please.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hope you don't mind if I use this right here. Just gonna use that real quick.
Yes, you
Just
can.
gonna use that.
I still have 1 point of luck left. Yeah?
Yes,
I hope so.
I believe you do.
Yeah, good.
Oh no!
Oh no! Can I do extra effort to make that little extra jump? You know,
Yes,
like
you can use extra effort to add +2 to a roll.
Yes, I'll hit
15. Nope. Does not make it.
do that.
I'd like to use my extra effort to reach out and grab Narcissus, because I ended up with a 27, so I'm going to reach out and actually, no, that would be +10, 27, 37. I'm going to reach out and grab Narcissus with using my hero point.
Okay.
And just... You got to learn to keep up, Narcissus.
You manage to grab his arm as you pull away from what looks like an orc cruiser with a K. It's a spaceship adorned with cannons, and your pilot actually managed to dodge the little remaining flak fire that's still going on, and managed to go under the radar again.
Okay, so we're all aboard safely.
Yeah, look, we all made it.
A Krubu is done. He's exhausted. He's used every ounce. He's coming off the adrenaline, the drugs. He's just like, oh.
Zachariel goes over and basically punches the chest of Narcissus and smiles. Not many get to have the pleasure of killing an orc war boss. Though I dare say you were helped.
Yeah, that
He's going to bring out the gauntlet and
right.
just... he's going to bring out the gauntlet and try to just sort of examine it to see what the hell it is. And see if he can divine anything from it.
So, as you look at the gauntlet, it's a weird metal. It's like it's an alloy of sorts, but you cannot really tell what kind of material. It's larger than your gauntlets, no, not much larger. It misses any inner workings, so it's like a shell, an empty shell. It should have had padding, might have had padding, or been part of an exoskeleton similar to your power armor would be, but there's no attachments. It's smooth.
I'm going to see if I can really push this now. So Kruber's going to take the helmet off, and obviously I've got heightened senses. And as a veteran of many war fronts, I know the smell of chaos. Can I smell anything like that off this artifact to sense if it's corrupted?
You are, as you smell it, you are very sure it's not tainted by chaos.
Fine by me then. It's all right.
Now, in this information, it's just not chaos.
Yeah. Can I, now seeing the object and sort of be piecing together the fact that there was an Eldar Farseer who was either wanting this object or protecting it, is there anything in sort of my knowledge of Xenos that would indicate anything further about this, or am I just sort of holding a very fancy glove?
It does not look like anything Eldar you've seen. What you do know of Eldar and missions you've been on is that Eldar do often seek out artifacts from other civilizations or try to steal them from civilizations they do not deem worthy of it.
Orcs, for instance, yeah. Could I do like a expertise Xenos check to see if this is like anything I would recognize at all?
No, that's basically what you got from.
Oh, that's basically what I get?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like a power fist.
The design is too small.
Power fist.
I often find that size doesn't matter when it comes to such blatant power.
Well, whatever that orc did certainly had some kick to it.
Indeed it did. Zachariel is going to look back at the cruiser. Is it following them, or is it just sort of taking off?
It's taking off towards orbit. It's starting to gain some height.
Perhaps we should let the Emperor's son know about that.
Immediately, Zachariel will hop on comms and try to get a hailing frequency to the Emperor's son.
Lucius here.
Lucius, inform the Inquisitor that the artifact has been retrieved. The war boss has been dealt with. But there's a bit of unfortunate news. Seems an orc cruiser has made itself known upon the planet and will soon be in orbit. With the artifact being retrieved, I wonder if the Inquisitor would have us deposit it within their care.
I will engage stealth protocols and I will ask the Emperor's son to do the same. I will relay the question.
And relay its answer quickly. And he's going to shut off comms and turn to the pilot.
As you do, though, Prometheus looks your way. And this artifact, it is inert. Psychically.
Inert?
No, it's the same as with the walls. Similar.
Similar or the same?
Similar.
Good.
But just by looking at it, someone wearing this would be immune to my powers.
Immune?
Now, not just the glove. I mean, if this is a whole set, would just bounce off like rain, like bullets on our armor.
Well, that explains why the Eldar and the Orcs would like that.
Mm. And also why the Inquisition would.
Zachariel is
their call.
Zachariel is basically going to collapse into his mind palace and basically see if there's like any civilization that existed before humanity colonized the stars and the Imperium was in existence that could have had the ability to create such a thing. He's basically going to see if there's like anything that he would consciously recognize.
Yeah. So consciously, with that said, you would think that, well, you know that there are some special psychers that can nullify psychic powers. They're very rare. There's some technology that protects you that has similar effects, though to achieve it in an object, that's something else, in an inert object. Not something the Imperium could do, nor have you fought anyone that wielded such items. Well, that Prometheus himself, his armor protects him from psychic powers.
He's going to take the gauntlet out of its casing and try to maneuver it to see if there's any sort of markings or other kind of basically maker's tags, like anything that he could consciously recognize or figure logically.
No, it's
indicated
actually,
origin.
It's actually
otherwise.
Clean, and there's no machining marks either. It's so perfectly crafted. There's no marks you can see.
He's going to immediately recase it and just kind of shake his head.
So, as to wrap up the session, because I think both Tom have to go and we have to hand the stream off in a couple of minutes. What would Kifkin ask them to do with the artifact?
Kifkin. He would have them rendezvous with the Emperor's son as soon as he got transmission, and then do a formal handoff, as well as he would want to speak with the captain again and get a full debrief, because just an orc cruiser just appeared kind of sets off all the alarms in Kifkin's brain. And he's also just wow, so all of the stories are true about Space Marine competency, and I just want to talk to one of these champions of the Emperor, because I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. Vasily was out of earshot for that, I assume.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
the
probably
janitor
running.
wasn't. He's plugged in.
So we can end with the rendezvous, I'd say.
Okay. So what I think is that as soon as Icariel gets hey, we want to meet up. where are you at? He's gonna order the ship back to what was it, Hammer of Vengeance, I believe it was.
Yes, the Hammer of Vengeance.
Hammer of Vengeance, and then have the Hammer rendezvous with the Emperor's son as expediently as possible. If he could bore a line straight through the planet, he would, but given that this is 40k, he just sort of directs them to go the most direct route possible. And meeting up, he would have his helmet off and be in the throes of deep thought. He's very upset that he does not know what this artifact does or what it is, and that sort of terse nature kind of permeates his report. As you can understand, this artifact, by whatever nature it was contrived, is highly dangerous. Our librarian Prometheus supposes that were this assembled with the additional hypothetical pieces which constitute the armor, it would render the user or the wearer able to be blank in terms of the warp, completely devoid of all psychic influence.
Are you familiar with the... I hate to interrupt you, Captain, but this comes to mind. Are you familiar with a particular culture that died during the Great Crusade? They're known as the Interrex.
Inquisitor, he's going to turn his pauldron and point to exactly where he was from. The blood raven sigil adorns it. A black raven with a red drop of blood constituting its body. Do you understand what this means?
Yes.
It means that I know knowledge is power. That knowledge of our enemy will lead us to victory. To answer your question, never once has that name crossed my path.
I'm not surprised. During the Great Crusade, a number of cultures were purged, and considering the dark history of this one, it was purged for a reason. The Interrex were possibly one of the most technologically advanced human societies for the Imperium. They had what was best described by the remembrancers of the original chapters as magic. Technology so advanced, it was magic. They had bows, literal, like primitive looking bows and arrows that could pierce through ceramite and adamantine. If anyone could make something so elegant and also so dangerous, it may have been them or their precursors.
Certainly wouldn't have been an orc or an Eldar, much as it pains me to say. As an aside, we recovered the remains of a Farseer who died. Their soul stone was shattered.
I'm not surprised.
I would believe that... He's going to narrow his eyes at that statement. Had you a hand in this?
No, just forewarned. What is the name of the clan that took this?
The Bat Boys.
Huh. That's a new name for me. That's
I've had several
surprising.
dealings with them. Mechanically inclined, cunning, over brutal.
Okay.
Explains how they were able to construct an entire cruiser underground.
Oh. Here. Well, thank you for your efforts, Captain. You and your team are to be much lauded. As for this artifact, I am fairly certain the rest of its pieces, if it hasn't been raided by the Eldari already, are scattered across this sector, and that the whole of the Imperium's enemies, with maybe the slight exception of the Tyranid, are after it.
With your permission, then, we would hold on to the remains of the Farseer.
By all means.
Elements within it might reveal more of Eldar activity within the area. And dependent upon the importance of the Shaika, it may be used as a point of contact.
By all means, keep your salvage, as it were. Bring it back to your watch captain with my regards. And I have an inkling we may be working together in the future. Thank you.
Pray that we don't.
The Emperor protects, Captain.
The Emperor protects. He's going to bow and go back to the hammer.
We will wrap up this session of Inquisitor, because it's perfect words to end with. The Emperor protects. And that was fun. I had a lot of fun. So let's do a short debrief of our squad of Deathwatch Space Marines. Did you enjoy the session? highlight and where can we find you online. And after that, we will hand the viewers over to the next show of today, which is Beginner's Play Rafting Academy, correct? Because I don't have Charlie to remind me of all these details today. So we will go in the same order as we always do, as we start with Kat, then only go Kivkin, Jason, and with Tom. So Kat, so how does Brother Khalil debrief this session that she enjoyed today? He enjoyed today?
I keep changing genders on you.
Yeah.
Well, my characters do.
Yeah.
Brother Cleo is, for one thing, I think Brother Cleo is more concerned about Narcissus and how they're adapting, given that this was their first real mission battle with them, and maybe point out a few things like we don't give Akrubo stims when he's in a feral state, those kinds of things, little pointers, little tips. That this is fairly standard, and may want to work on those jumping skills, because either we all come home or nobody does.
All right. And where can we find you online?
You can find me at Cleric of Cord on Twitter, and hanging out in different streams across the Twitch sphere, whatever. Twitch. Yeah. Watching and playing games. Tomorrow night is my All Evil playing an All Evil campaign on Madbird stream, so come check us out. It's a lot of fun. My Tiefling Sorcerer just took a level in Warlock, and she's quite happy. Wednesday, watch the Twitters for a special announcement. And Thursday, I will be back here on Deck of Many Worlds, the viewer game, which if you want to come play with us, please come play with us, because we have so much fun. And Talanir is a great DM. Oh, I misspelled that, and I'll get the link in for you. Come into the Discord, join us, sign up, play a game. It's a lot of fun. And then Friday, back for Greyhawk, Cudgel Basilica. A lot of fun again as well, exploring the realm of Greyhawk and playing a paladin. Ooh, I love paladins.
Nice.
Halfling paladins are even better.
All right. So, Pope.
Oh, that was something. As for Narcissus getting, I think what is the marker for half a war boss? That was an absolute delight. I love these characters. I definitely would like to see them again. As for Narcissus, he is just... This was a wake-up call. Having to deal with something that wasn't, back of the line or gene testing or whatnot, or corpse retrieval. This was full-on combat in a high-tension situation. So he's growing up a little bit. But overall, just pleased with today. As for where you can find me, over on the Twitterverse, I'm Pope World Build, here on Twitch, World Build. And tonight, if you are free, we'd love to have you over on Tales from the Grim at 9 p.m. for Bad Moon Rising, where we will see how this interesting game of Urban Shadows plays out. When we last saw everybody had a problem. So let's see if there's some solutions this evening. Otherwise, if you're watching this on YouTube, please come and join us when you can over here at Encounter Roleplay on Twitch at 2 p.m. Eastern Mondays for Inquisitor. We'd love to have you. And for those of you in chat, love each and every one of you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
Jason. Captain Zachariel Tarian.
Yeah, man, that was a fantastic time. Wonderful to occupy a headspace outside of Vasily, and really interesting to have such a different dynamic, an actual team devoted to getting an objective done and completing it within one session. It's amazing. But no, highlight obviously would be just stealing the artifact itself, which is just fun. And also, I love the orc exit signs. I really was glad that was incorporated. But outside of that, just Jason Please on Twitter. Got a pinned tweet that tells you where I am at any point in time. And won't take any up any more of yours. And just hand it off to Tom.
Yeah. Tom, our special guest for today, our epic melee fighting space wolf.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's there's a certain particular freedom that you get when you know it's a one shot. You can just do whatever the hell you want, and I wanted to be a space Viking on steroids. So thankfully, I was able to do that. A very special thank you to Pope, who created the character for me. So thank you so much for that. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of good fun. I do like the 40k universe. I don't know a huge bit about it, but I'm a big fan of it. I like how grim it is. And I was an Imperial Guard guy. I love just sending wave after wave of men into the grinder. It was, it's just grim, and it's nice like that, and I like it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Favorite point, going feral and just going nuts. That was fun. One thing I really liked is that you allowed us to get really creative, and I like it when DMs do that. Where I just threw up a shell in the ceiling and blasted it to bring it down. Some other DMs would have just went, no, you can't do that. That's stupid. No, I like it when people allow players to be creative. But it's stupid, but fun, creative, and it's somewhat realistic in the 40k universe. Where you're a giant genetically enhanced machine. You just why not? So thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I'm Redundant UK. You can check me out on Twitter, redundant_UK. I am on Encounter Roleplay at 7 p.m. for Cult of Divinity Lost, and also on RPG Webby this Thursday at 8 p.m. for our debrief of the last After the Fire season, which will be I don't know. We normally go for 3 hours, but it's going to be like an 8-hour thing, because once we get talking, it just keeps going.
I can't remember if that's off stream or not, but even then,
I thought it was on stream.
Either way, I'm sure you will hear about it on Twitter.
Oh well, yeah. You can go
it really doesn't matter. Everything is content.
Web. Yeah. You go to RPG Web. If we're live, it's going to be on stream. If not, well, we're doing it in private. So whatever.
In private, meaning Susie and Charlie. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I will wrap up today, and I want to also thank Pope for the extra work he put into helping the others with the characters. Since this is a one shot,
hands all around for Pope.
Really helped us out, and I really enjoyed it, especially the part where the moment you found out you were actually on a spaceship rather than a scrapyard. The faces were. I hope someone clipped that. Orcs are just crazy, and love working with them. And I'm surprised you actually got the warbles down relatively fast, but that's the great part. You actually pump in all your resources that you have, take all the risks you can for the moment, and get the job done. So kudos to that. And escaping, that was close. I mean, those rolls. So wanted to get a kill, but didn't. So let's hand you off, all the viewers off. People on YouTube, come watch us on Monday evenings. We're here, same time, same place. Probably the link down below or something. We'll hand you over to Ravnica, and we will see you next week, where we get back with Matilda and investigating the gauntlet on top of the helmet. So there's only one thing to do, and that is to say, try to not to roll too many natural ones, because we want to be there laughing when you do. Good night.